Wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up! Up you wake, up you wake, up you wake, up you wake! This is Mr. Senior Love Daddy, your voice of choice. The world's only 12-hour strong man on the air. Here on We Love
Films
108 FM. The last on your dial, but first in your hearts. And that's the truth. Root. Here I am. Am I here? You know it. You know. This is Mr. Senior Love Daddy doing the nasty to your ears to the nasty. Eyes only play the platters that matter, the matters they platter. And that's the truth. Root.
From the heart of Bed-Stuy, you're listening to We Love
Films.
Doing the yin and the yang, the hip and the hop, the stupid fresh thing, the flippity flop. Oh!
Movies. We watch movies. You listen to us talk about movies that we watched without you.
It's beautiful.
Thanks. Now this is podcasting. Are we going to get some checks?
Let's do some checks. Checks.
Check. For me, bagel chips.
You ever have that puppy chow?
No, I don't eat puppy. No, I have had a puppy cookie once. One of those.
What? Hold on.
Yeah, like they said they're edible.
I'm not asking if you've eaten dog food. I'm
That's
asking
Adam's
if you've eaten. People take Chex cereal and coat it in like chocolate and powdered sugar. And
I'll
they
tell
call
you.
it puppy chow.
Oh, I've never had that. This might be a really.
But you have had a puppy cookie.
Food for dogs.
This might be a really silly podcast tonight because I feel like I'm drunk right now. So.
Oh hell yeah!
Just like you were when you ate that dog food.
Yeah. That puppy chow.
Were you at like a PetSmart and you're like, I'll eat this?
Here, let me do Adam's laugh impression.
Do it. I got it.
Yeah.
I really hope.
It made me
He's
laugh.
got that Corby laugh.
I hope that's on video.
I'm going to delete everything.
Trey eating dog food. Turn my Adam up.
Okay. This is getting ridiculous. This is way too early in the show to even be doing all this chicanery.
Well, I'm sorry, Trey. You should have told us you ate dog food later in the show.
I don't eat. It wasn't dog food. It was a dog cookie.
So
there's a difference.
What is it?
I don't know.
is a cookie food?
It was like edible for humans and pups.
Well, I mean, dog food is edible for humans, but there's no way this is just like in the cookie aisle.
It was like a Oreo cookie.
But it's not like at Kroger in the cookie aisle.
Yeah,
and
like
it's good for dogs and humans.
It's in the dog food aisle for sure.
Yeah, it was a dog food, but it was like you could eat it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll eat dog food. I don't care. I was at a very young, impressionable age. Have you ever heard the story of how
27?
I ate the Iodine Cracker in middle school?
I think you may have said that on an earlier episode, but I'm totally down for it again.
So I was in 6th grade, and there was this science experiment, and we were putting iodine on a cracker for some reason. And my lab partner was like, hey, it says in the rules, and this guy was a real jokester. He was trying to get
classic
jokester. And he was like, you're supposed to eat the cracker with iodine. So me, impressionable young Trey, idiot Trey, eats the iodine cracker. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And they took me to the doctor, and I had to like drink a bunch of water to get it out of my system. And so it was just a big deal. And then the next year, my sister goes, she goes to the same high school, and she was in the same class. And they're like, last year some idiot thought he would be funny and try to eat the iodine cracker, so don't be like that idiot. It was really embarrassing for my sister. I ruined the family name.
Yeah, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
So this dog food incident happened when you were impressionable. Who was like impressing upon you?
No, I think
to
what
eat
it was
dog food.
What it was when we had Abby, our golden retriever puppy, who has since passed away. R.I.P. Moment of silence. Moment of silence. That's over now.
Much respect.
Moment of noise.
When we were training her, I remember the dog trainer place had like these cookies they fed her. I'm like, oh, are those cookies like, can they be eaten by humans? So you're like, yeah, sure, have one, and then I ate it. So it wasn't like I'm just.
So no one was
cookies.
impressing upon you. You You
I wanted to.
You
eat
saw
that
them
cookie.
and you were like,
I want a cookie.
I want one of those.
Yeah.
Looks like a cookie, smells like cookie.
Must be a cookie.
What did it taste like?
Tastes like kind of a bad Oreo. It had like a cream filling and stuff, you know?
Like one that was intended for dogs.
Yeah.
Great for dog palates.
A dog one. Well, this is a super. You know what else is a good dog? Lassie, and that's a film.
Why? There you go.
Super FilmsCast 64 here. This is
favorite movie dog, Trey.
Didn't we do this question?
I think we did.
We did.
We definitely did.
No, that wasn't on the podcast. That was IRL, I believe.
Yeah, Lexi couldn't wait.
Yeah.
So she just asked everyone in person. That's true. You haven't posted Titter questions.
Titter questions.
Titter questions.
It's been a long weekend.
Hey,
Twitter questions.
Please post Titter questions.
Yeah.
I retweeted it 1,000,000 times, and we've gotten some questions.
We have.
If you guys want to retweet it, maybe tell your friends to send in, some questions. Tell your families.
Get it out there.
Get it out there for the people. This is Super FilmsCast 64. This is a show where we talk about movies and films. And, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Super FilmsCast 64. Please leave us a comment on iTunes. That would be really helpful because we don't have any comments on it. We have 2, and 1 is from me. Hey. So we got 1 comment on iTunes, and I think that was from one of the Chris's.
Okay. I figured it was one of those Chris's.
One of those
loyal
Christeners.
The Christeners. So yeah, it's from them. And you just subscribe. Tell us what you think of the show. I know we got a guy who's, I think he's like trying to listen to all of our podcasts. He's been commenting on the YouTube page. So.
Who's Oliver Podcast?
No. I'm sorry?
God. Who let Connor Risenhoover in here?
It's not Connor. It's not Connor.
No, I was talking about Spencer with his
pun humor.
Just kind of tangentially adjacent.
Yeah. We need to stop with the Connor thing. We need to get rid of him. I told Austin, but he doesn't want to. I don't know.
Because he's too much of a hunk?
He's too hunky, man. He's making me look bad. I can't have this.
Guys,
I'm the hunkiest guy on both podcasts.
Man, you sound like a real John and Paul right here, trying to kick out the handsome man.
Yeah,
bring in a Ringo.
Exactly. I got to get Ringo in here. I don't know who would be Ringo, but probably.
Who's
me.
your ugliest friend?
Oh man, I got a lot of ugly friends. The thing is, though,
if you had to name the ugliest
friend, that's like a personal friend of mine
that also plays the drums.
Yeah.
Okay, his name is Rango.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the lizard
like
man?
the film.
Yeah, like the film Rango.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. What have you guys been watching?
Oh boy, I have a lot, you guys.
Oh man,
lay it on us.
I've watched a bunch. Today we're going to be talking about Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So I watched both of those.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I also watched The Accountant,
starring Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, where he uses his autism to beat the bad guys.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Empowerment.
Yeah.
It's a good message.
There's one scene where he really intensely does accounting. And that one's my favorite part.
Oh, yeah. They're like, wow, you just solved all of our money problems.
Does he ever write equations on a glass mirror?
He's
window?
in a room. There's some whiteboards, and then he works all the way around. He does some on the whiteboards. He does some on the glass.
Yeah.
He goes all around. Mm-hmm. And Anna Kendrick comes in the next morning, and she's like, what? I've been spending months doing this.
Do you think he got really jealous about Matt Damon and Good Will Hunting? He's like, no, I'm not just going to do one board. I'm doing the whole room.
Yeah, he's so mad.
He's mad.
And then also, he not only uses his autism for money-saving powers.
Superpowers.
Next thing you know, he's beating up a whole bunch of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the autists do, is they beat up dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer, I interrupted you.
I was just going to say, they have so many programs on computers to do what he took up so much whiteboard for that they would in turn have to copy over into some Excel doc or something. So it was really like an insane waste of time that he would just write all over those doors and whatnot. But anyways, get back to your storytelling.
Yeah,
overall, it's pretty good. It's kind of like John Wick. Essentially,
I heard TC enjoyed it.
I think it's pretty fun. It's pretty dumb,
yeah,
but kind of The action is pretty decent.
All in camera? Is it like in camera stunts or not so much? Is there a lot of cuts with the action?
Man, I don't really remember.
Because like John Wick, of that was
that's
in
what
camera.
that is. Yeah, it's not quite to John Wick's level of choreography and stuff. But Ben Affleck's doing some cool things. And they're making a second one. They're making a second account. I don't really know how they're gonna do it.
This time with Down syndrome.
Yeah,
Asperger's syndrome.
He brings in the Avengers, where everybody
Oh
has it.
God.
Where everybody has a different
Yes.
disability. There's
ADD,
Hold on.
ADHD.
Wait, they call it
Wait
the
a second.
spectrum.
Is Ben Affleck doing that secretly? Where
Maybe.
like Daredevil, he's blind and can still do everything. Now he has autism. He's going through a bunch of
Yeah.
like limiting things.
Batman, he doesn't have parents.
Right.
It's a syndrome.
Yeah, I think they've cast him for the My Left Foot remake.
Mm.
Can I do a non sequitur here and interrupt you for a second?
Go for it. I'm pretty much done with my accountant talk.
Okay, so I was hanging with some friends last night, and my
Okay.
buddy Ian is part of this app. It is called Nextdoor. And
Okay.
it's a neighborhood app
Yep.
I know this.
for nosy neighbors to all get together and gossip.
Right.
And so I have hijacked Ian's neighborhood, and I'm posting a whole bunch of fun things like this thing about your pets and coyotes. And my question, this very very delicate subject of coyotes eating pets. Let me find my
Is
post
that an
here.
issue in
That is an issue in
Okay.
Plano.
Are you saying like my pet coyote got out? Be on the look.
Yes, pretty well. No, here's
I haven't
you're
fed
on the
him
right
in a long
track.
time.
You're on
I
the
ate
right.
all his food.
So I post.
I got a little hungry, so I ate his cookies.
What if I have a pet coyote? I raise a litter for a sanctuary up in Forney. And Wendy Jurgensen said, that's such an old lady name, says, if you have a pet coyote, you are required by state to have it registered. Contact the Allen Animal Shelter for more info. And so I go, is it really illegal to have a pet coyote? I have 3 pups. Oh, also, my name is Nathan Drake. I have Mario's nips as my profile picture. And then Wendy Jurgensen says, under Texas law, these animals are considered dangerous wild animals, and you must have a permit. City counties can have other animals listed in their ordinances. And an ocelot. Ooh, that's a dangerous lion, tiger, ocelot.
They're so cute, though.
Dude, they are. They're cute little animals. I also did a article about ski snowboarding. Any places I can ski or snowboard in Plano. And I get a lot of good responses. A lot of great
What did they
ones.
say?
So Chris Bullock says, ice skating and curling, yes, but no ski and snowboard places I know. Too flat here. Seeing we're in the Great Plains area. And
Nothing about it not being cold.
No.
Or
No. I'm
It
guessing
is.
they thought maybe I was talking about like indoor, those
Right.
cool hip indoor places.
I like that you were like, hey, I need a place to go snowboarding. And
Yeah.
he was like, well, there's a curling place.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
that scratches the same itch.
Totally.
So since you used the accountant to segue into this, are you basically saying you're pretending to be autistic
Yes,
on Nextdoor?
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Final one, contractor help. I need a contractor to knock down some dry walls in my house. I'm getting a lot of work done, so there might be more traffic than usual, so don't be alarmed. I'm also hosting a benefit concert at my house next week, and just FYI.
Did you detail what the benefit was for?
No, just it's a benefit. And I said, what's the deal on noise regulations? And this one lady says, I think no excessive noise after 10, however, whatever. I'm going to do some more stuff. There's also a few, I don't know. There are a few things that if I want to just get totally banned, I will. But that's sort of last minute.
I think it's better to do more subtle things.
Yeah.
And get people riled up.
Yeah, I want to rile people up. I want to just, be a horrible neighbor to
You're
these
an
people.
internet troll, Trey.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
I'm-
Lost Child. Last seen with pet coyote.
Yeah. That's a great one. I'm going to put that one next. Yeah. Or I should take a picture of my coyotes. Like, just get a picture of coyotes. Here's my pups. Anyone want to, adopt one?
Family. What about like left furniture I don't need on my deck? Just go take it.
You know what I should do?
Or just
I
talk
should just
about
put
how
Lost Coyote. I had a litter of pups and they're all gone now. I don't know what to do with them.
Man,
they're all lost. I'm sorry to interrupt you. What other movies have you been watching?
That's good. That made me laugh.
All right.
I enjoyed that.
Right.
Also, let's see. So I watched Coco.
Okay.
Spencer,
Yeah,
and I and Lexi and Gina went to go see Coco.
Mm-hmm.
you saw another movie before Coco.
Oh yeah. Are you aware of this?
What?
That when you go to see Coco, you see 2 movies.
I hear like there was a lot of controversy about the first one. Like people didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was like a Frozen thing, right?
Yeah. It is it's a full like television episode.
Really?
Basically, it's 22 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like forever.
Wow.
There are 4 or 5 moments where you're like, okay, it's ending now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really just where they were planning to like cut to commercial, and then it picks back up.
They're showing you a pilot, pretty
and then
much.
there's
Yeah. And there will be like full songs, and you're like, okay, this is where it's going to end. And it doesn't end.
Nope.
And it keeps going. Coco, though, also, I'll not save it for news. They're pulling the Frozen thing starting December 8th.
Thank God.
Because a bunch of parents complained. Because if you have kids, you're going to see a movie.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, my kids can stay still for like an hour and 45 minutes. And then you tack on
30.
like there's trailers, so that's another 15 minutes. It's like 40 minutes before you even see the movie.
Yeah, that's not a good deal.
Yeah, but a woman in our theater loved it.
Uh-huh.
Loved it. There were like 4 or 5 like fruitcake jokes.
Yeah.
She cracked up at all of them.
Ooh. Is like fruitcake jokes even like?
Well, I don't know, because no one gives out fruitcakes
No.
anymore, and this is a thing for kids. Like no
Yes.
Right.
kid is gonna think that's funny, but this grown woman loved the fruitcake jokes.
I feel like fruitcake jokes are a thing that is in a lot of kids' shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, there's some things that just like maintain in kids'
Mm-hmm.
culture,
Yeah.
I guess.
It's like the airline food joke of observational humor.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Fruitcake is like holiday humor
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Bring a
Yeah.
fruitcake.
for.
No.
As far as Coco goes, Spencer, I don't want to speak for you, but Coco, I enjoyed it
Wait,
a lot.
wait. Coco was loco?
No, it's pretty sane.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
But it was good.
Mhm.
I kind of halfway through, I was kind of doubting it, but I feel like the end was really good.
Mhm.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good stuff. They have like an old, like great grandma character, and her like skin and hands and face all look really great.
Her whiskers and everything.
Yeah. I saw a picture of the little teaser for Incredibles 2, and they zoomed in on Bob's shirt, and you can see like the stitching and then like the tiny like fibers of the shirt.
Jeez.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Pixar's nuts.
Yeah.
And kind of before Coco started, they talked about how this world in the land of the dead, they made it, and it had like 4 million individual lights that were all done like individually, and it's all like
There was
real
like a
towns.
making of before the movie?
They were kind of just like, hey, you guys, we spent a lot of time on this movie, so please like it.
Yeah,
I'm leaving.
Please nominate us for an Academy Award. Please do that.
I mean, it
it
obviously
will. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Pixar. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome though.
That's
And
pretty cool,
there's-
though. I like that stuff.
There's a lot. I mean, it's really heavily.
think- Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was gonna say it's really heavily like music based,
Mhm.
and so they like animate the boy playing the guitar, and all of like the fingering for the chords and everything are all like accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really neat.
No, we could do you're talking about awards, having certain awards. We could do best fingering of 2017.
Yeah,
We get
that's
the
that's
it's a
fingering
lock.
and we get
Yeah.
the fingering in Alien Covenant and this. Which one wins?
Ooh.
Have you seen Alien Covenant?
I still haven't seen Alien
But
Covenant.
you know what I'm
That's
talking about, right? The
Yeah,
fingering.
I heard about
Yeah. Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No one fingers better than Coco.
yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, there's a lot of skeletons with their heads popping off humor,
Uh-huh.
like a lot, almost as much as fruitcake humor.
Yeah,
But-
I thought overall, I thought a lot of like the beats were pretty predictable.
Well,
Yeah.
what was the
Um,
premise of it?
It's
I
it's a
guess.
Dia de los Muertos movie.
Well, I mean, like, what's like the story?
So the kid is in a family who makes shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, his great-great-great-grandfather left his family to go pursue a music career. And so then the family from that point on hated music, and no one could have music. And this kid wants to play music, and so he gets in a fight with his family on Dia de los Muertos, and through a series of things ends up in the land of the dead, where he meets all his ancestors and stuff like that, and has to try to get back.
Gotta get back.
Yeah.
We gotta go back. Does he have to get like the same people from the same flight, going the same course? You know?
No, not quite lost.
Good God, we gotta do this all right.
But I think there's some pretty cool like rules
in
this movie as far as what it takes to cross over.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have people remember you, have your name, your picture on the
It's like Lost.
Yeah, I thought it felt pretty authentic and like kind of true to the holiday, and honestly like taught me a lot of like things about the traditions of Dia de los Muertos that I didn't know about. And then on top of being like really cool visually, it made me want to see it in Spanish, like with subtitles, obviously, because they did it in Spanish and English. So I thought it would be cool to like hear all the songs in Spanish and everything.
Yeah. All right. So sounds like a good little movie.
I would say check it out.
You can check it out. Yeah.
And then let's see what else I watched. Mudbound on Netflix.
Okay.
Which is a movie that you picked in your Oscar thing.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I was reading too much into the IndieWire tea leaves.
It's a good movie. It's about a family during World War II and in Mississippi, and one of them they send their brother over to fight in the war, and then the black family that rents from them, who it's kind of like a slave relationship sort of deal with the white family.
They pay him, but they still treat him like shit, kind of thing.
Yeah, basically. And then there's a big old clan thing that happens.
Yeah.
Everybody in the movie is people you'll recognize, but not know.
Yeah, like
any of their
names.
Person. It's like the guy from Zero Dark 30.
Right.
The lead guy in Tron, the most recent Tron.
Okay.
Mary J. Blige.
There you go.
Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad is in it.
Okay.
Who is Mike.
Yeah, Mike the Cleaner.
Yeah. So there's...
I know my Breaking Bad. Come on, man. Come on.
Just passing knowledge.
Right.
It's pretty good. It's on Netflix. It's a little...
heavy?
Yeah, it is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of racism stuff, but it's also not super engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's interesting, but it's not, like, super interesting, I guess. So I think that's okay. I also watched the documentary Comedian, which it follows Jerry Seinfeld in 2002.
Okay.
And he's just finished his TV show, and he's decided that he's going to throw out all the jokes that he ever wrote. He's going to retire all the jokes he ever wrote and just start from scratch, doing stand-up again, building it up. Because generally when comedians start over and work on new material, they'll have their old material that they know is going to get laughs, and then they'll work on some of the new stuff, and then they'll go back to the old stuff. He decided he was only going to do new material and work on it, and it was just kind of going through his frustrations and stuff, and that's really interesting. But the much more interesting part is they also have an up-and-comer, and they follow him, and his name is Orny Adams.
Okay. I thought you were going to say, like, Louis C.K. or some big name. Okay.
No. This guy is the biggest
didn't mean to mention Louis, sorry.
Asshole
really?
In the world. He is so, like, self-important and just the biggest fucking jerk. It's unbelievable. He is the most infuriating person. And at one point, a promoter guy is just like, hey, you have really good material, but maybe just like be quiet off stage. And he just kind of like seethes and just talks about how much that guy sucks and all this stuff, and it's real bad. And so I went and I looked him up, and he's like a teacher on MTV's Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf
now, and
nice.
So it was kind of like when they followed him, he was maybe gonna break.
Yeah,
and it was leading up to his first Letterman appearance.
Oh wow, okay.
And
Letterman has stand-ups on from time to time, right? I know Conan has been doing that too.
All the late night shows did that. It used to be a much bigger deal than it is now. But so he was maybe gonna make it, but he has not. And I 100% believe it's because he's just a huge asshole. And if I was him, I wouldn't have wanted this documentary out.
That's every business you're in entertainment, even like sports radio. I mean, it's a very small industry, and everybody knows everybody. And if you're a dick, everybody knows.
Well, you don't get to be a dick until you've made it.
Exactly.
Once you've made it and you're like established, at that point you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. You can just be an asshole. Oh, but even then though, like Mike Myers doesn't get work anymore because he was such a dick, right? I mean, that's the story, right?
Is that the story?
I
don't
hear
know.
He's extremely hard to work with.
I thought it was just because his movies stopped making money.
That too. Well, it's just like athletes. You can be a dick if you're, winning ball games, but once you start becoming a dick and your performance drops, we're not going to deal with you anymore. It's all, same thing.
Yeah. One thing that's kind of weird is the documentary builds the whole time to like the kind of perfect comedian is kind of what they do.
Yeah.
And it's Jerry Seinfeld sitting down with Bill Cosby.
Huh. This is not aged well.
Yeah, he goes and talks to him, and it's like really like, wow, isn't Bill Cosby so great and so cool?
Did
they comment on that at all, like in the documentary, or was it just there?
How
old
this is from 2002.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying this was a new documentary.
No, this is from 2002.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
We saw Bill Cosby. He did a tour in like 2008.
Yeah.
Not 2008, more like 2012, 13.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, he's a funny guy.
He was so funny.
He was great. I used to listen to his tapes.
And then it turns out he's a sexual predator. And so it was kind of sad.
That's less funny.
Less funny.
Yeah.
Less funny.
I mean, it's not totally not funny.
Like
in the grand scheme of things, the fact that he does that is like ironic.
No, it's extremely ironic because we talked about it with the Kevin Spacey thing. He made himself America's dad. Like he was promoting himself as this wholesome man, America's father, and then
I don't know. Sometimes irony is still not funny.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
so that's Comedian. And then also just one last thing that I like.
Is Comedian on Netflix? Or?
It is on Netflix.
Okay.
So I saw it because I saw a comedian that I follow was like, hey, this has super influenced me to do things. And so I checked it out.
Cool.
I also watched Nathan For You, that season finale, is kind of being seen as, 2017's big TV moment in the kind of weird comedy world that I enjoy.
Where do you go for your comedy world, I guess? Where are you hearing that?
There's
just
podcast stuff, there's Twitter stuff.
Comedy Bang Bang is what I probably need to listen to, right?
That's kind of where things go, but it all spreads out.
Okay. All I'm hearing is just Game of the Year stuff. I haven't heard anything about that. So
yeah.
All right.
Well, then for 2016, as I was reading and hearing about, the Nathan For You stuff, I heard about 2016's, which is there's an episode of the Chris Gethard Show, which used to be a cable access show and then kind of graduated to its own thing on Fuse.
Mm-hmm.
Fusion, not Fuse. Fusion, and then now it's on True TV. But there's an episode last year where he just brings in a dumpster into his studio, and Jason Mantzoukas and Paul Shearer are on it, and it's just a call-in show, and you're just supposed to guess what's in the dumpster. And if you don't guess it, they're going to roll it out, and nobody is going to know what it is.
Yeah.
And it's free on YouTube. You can watch it. And Spencer, I showed it to.
Yeah.
It's amazing how engaging it is.
It's amazing. Like, well, I mean, the three of them are really funny, but Paul Scheer and Mantzoukas have they're such a good duo as far as just working off of each other. So they're hilarious. And then the premise is so fantastic, and they do such a great job of making you need to know what is in that dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
So it hits like every note perfectly. I strongly recommend watching it. It's like 45 minutes.
What's it called again?
It's called The Chris Gethard Show, and it's called One Man's Trash is Another Man's Treasure, is I think the name of the episode. And it starts off with Paul Scheer and Jason Mantzoukas actively trying to not play the game. And then they find out what's in the dumpster, and they completely switch.
Okay.
Which is a very cool thing to watch. Okay. So I would check that out. And that's what I've been watching, a very long episode.
Yeah. So I watched a lot of what Adam watched as well, the Chris Gethard Show, Coco. We also watched a movie called Raw, which is like I think it's Swedish. What is it? It's French? It might be French. It's European.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much a European independent film, but it's
boobies. There boobies?
There's boobies.
Hell yeah,
for sure, some boobies. It's basically about a vegetarian girl goes to a veterinary school, and her sister is there, and it's the strangest veterinary school, and in a weird way, it turns into kind of like a zombie vampire movie.
Huh.
It's not on like the highest of my recommends list. There are moments that are pretty cool. Then there are moments that are just, if you want to feel a little grossed out by a movie, I definitely recommend it.
Is it like those kind of B budget, but we obviously are taking a lot of inspiration from Quentin Tarantino kind of movies? It's like really like in your face.
It did not feel low budget at all.
Okay.
I mean, it probably was low budget, but it was really well done. It was well shot, and I mean, they're speaking French, so I don't have a I can't like.
You can't understand them.
I'm not like, the acting was as good as I could imagine.
French,
I would imagine it was good. I mean, maybe if I spoke French, I wouldn't feel the same way. I don't know, but I thought the performances were pretty cool, and it's weird. It's a weird movie, but it was good.
And there's boobies in it.
There are boobies.
Boobies.
Trey and I are high fiving.
So if you're looking for an excuse to cuddle up with your girl to a gross movie and look at some boobies at the same time,
whoa,
with her dad.
Oh,
what?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How did John like the boobies?
John said about 4 or 5 times, "Can you tell this is a European movie?"
Hey, did your father-in-law ever watch or ever listen to the podcast?
No, I still didn't send it to him.
Ooh, okay.
But I will, John.
One of these days.
Yeah.
All right.
So I watched that, and then I've been catching up on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I got way behind on that, and that's
I'm like an episode behind, I think, or two.
I have 1 or 2 episodes left in this season, and it's so good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
This season is fantastic. So
Michael J. Fox came back. I love that episode.
Yeah. The episode where he gets like unfatwa is so good.
Yeah.
It's great.
Revisiting all the people.
Yeah.
Did you maybe shake the coke a little too much?
I love so you did renounce the Jewish faith. Oh, yes.
It's kind of like the Seinfeld finale.
Well, a little
right?
bit. Yeah. He's getting judged
to an
much.
extent.
Yeah, but it's the opposite, kind of like he's realizing maybe he's not that bad of a guy.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of the whole show is that he's like a victim of circumstance. Where he is an asshole,
but
everyone
a lot
else
of things
are
bigger assholes.
Right? I mean,
it started off that way, but then it kind of flips where he blows everything out of proportion.
Yeah,
but
right.
But even like
Funkhauser's
girlfriend is like, shut up, come on.
I mean,
right, about the water.
That's the dilemma. Where it's like, you can just be polite, or you can be overly honest.
Yes.
Right. Or there is vice and virtue, and like either end is of being too honest or lying.
Yeah,
is vice. I think that's pretty much it. Other than the episodes 5 and 6.
All I watched are episodes 5 and 6. I've not watched anything, and I've barely played anything, just because I'm realizing that take a top 10 is not a lot of free time when you do that.
You're working. Does it make the workday go by faster?
Yeah, a little bit. It's in a weird way makes the week go by faster. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's give or take. It's like, okay, I'm doing more work. I'm getting out there more, but I don't have time to do other things I want to do. Really,
okay.
It seems like. So I don't know.
So
it's just filling, but
so nothing.
Nothing. I've not watched anything.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into news.
Let's do that.
I have a short news thing.
Okay.
All right. Infinity War, Marvel, the Avengers, Infinity War trailer.
There's a lot of people in that trailer.
Man, that movie is just going to be something's going to happen, and they're going to be like, oh, no, what are we going to do? And then Doctor Strange is going to walk in, and it's going to hang on for a little bit, so everybody goes, whoop, 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 Doctor Strange. And then they'll go, and he'll figure out the thing, and then it'll be someone else, and they'll go, and then Iron Man walks in, and then, oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy are here. And then they have to introduce every one of the Guardians of the Galaxy to everyone else on this thing. And then they're going to walk over somewhere else. And then, Thor's here, and Loki, and then all the small minor characters from Captain America. It's going to be exhausting.
Yes. And I think the biggest complaint is going to be you didn't have time to develop all these characters that you introduced in this movie.
Well, they did it in Suicide Squad. They introduced all the characters, and then they introduced Slipknot, but without a vignette, and then they killed him.
Off, yeah.
So if they don't do it, and then it'll feel weird, because I don't know.
I mean, I guess you don't have to totally introduce them, but you gotta. Yeah. But like you said, it's
like they have to interact.
Yes.
Where Iron Man has to meet the Guardians of the Galaxy and has to understand what's going on.
You're a raccoon, and you were in Parks and Rec. I watched that show. Yeah,
I thought you were supposed to be just funny man.
Yeah, you're a funny guy. Why are you doing all this?
It would be kind of funny if they did the beer fest with.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite all-time comedy scenes.
Yeah. We already know everything about you.
Yeah, we know everything about you. No awkward. No, just call me Landfill. How about that? No awkward getting to know each other phase.
Yeah.
And that's the best scene ever.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Super Troopers 2 trailer coming out 4/20?
Oh.
No, I haven't.
It I don't know about it, guys.
But Infinity War, it's crazy because every Marvel movie that's come out has ended with, well, the real battle is coming.
Yeah.
And it's all supposed to build to this.
And then
I just don't.
Then I heard, Avengers 4 is going to be the one that changes everything.
Well, they have 20 other movies planned after Infinity War.
Do you have the list?
I don't have the list.
I thought you did. I thought you might.
It man, I don't get it. People were freaking out.
Yeah, and Thanos, looks like Homer Simpson.
Homer Simpson, Hank Hill.
Yeah.
He looks like a lot of things
on
the internet. But man, what a bummer. That trailer sucks.
Yeah, it just, man, and I follow a few of these enthusiast sort of Facebook groups. There's one podcast I really like, and I like their video game stuff. But their movie stuff drives me a little batshit crazy because it's all, oh my God, the Guardians trailer. Oh my God, the superhero trailer. And I mean, I look, if you like, I enjoy superhero movies and I respect you if you do. But it's like they act, every single big franchise is this big event.
Right.
And it's like, it just feels so false to me. I don't know.
Right.
So phony.
I agree.
Yeah.
Holden Caulfield over here.
Yeah.
Big fat phonies.
Big fat phones.
Anyway. Moving on. Lady Bird broke a Rotten Tomatoes record.
Yeah, I heard
for
that.
most positive reviews without a negative review.
There's no negative review.
There has not been a single. It's over 170 reviews without a negative one.
Are they counting Lawrence of Arabia is on there with the tomato score? Are they counting that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There probably are fewer reviews for that.
Yeah, but
as well.
Oh, I guess I see what you're saying. The most positive reviews without a negative review.
Right. Okay. That's the difference because what you'll see is it's the highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes ever, which is technically correct. But all you have to do is make a consensus B movie as long as it's just not any one person could say it's a C, you'll be fine.
That's the thing people don't understand with Rotten Tomatoes is that it's not a rating of how good it is. It's not A, B, C, D. It's the percentage of people with positive reviews. And that positive review could be, it was a fun movie. that doesn't mean it's the best movie ever made.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, like 67% is not a C-.
Right.
It's just mostly positive.
Yes. Like that's why people freak out. Fast and the Furious got a 90, but what about this movie? No, it just means that people enjoyed it.
Right.
Where'd you find those?
I think she bought it.
Oh, don't buy it. I'll buy you a drink. Don't buy that. I'll buy you a water.
Ooh.
Not a drink.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Spencer.
And then my last piece of news, the Tarantino Manson 1969 movie is going to be released August 2019.
Yep. And that's when, what's her name was killed? What's the first victim?
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate.
Yes.
Sharon Tate.
Roman Polanski's wife.
Roman Polanski. And you heard the Mad Men theory.
Right. That Don's wife was going to be Sharon Tate.
Second wife was going to be Sharon Tate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Which... I don't know. I'm kind of glad they didn't do it, but I thought it was fun when they did. We're like all these theories about
the
it.
DB Cooper and
those are fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
But it worked out being a lot better.
Yeah.
So now we got to talk about box office stuff.
When does that box office stuff come out? Like, are we?
It comes out Sundays.
Okay, so we're good.
So we're good
cool.
on Sundays. So,
okay.
Also,
you might have lost this because
Spencer and I both lost because of
we didn't realize. Well, we all didn't realize.
There's some scheduling stuff that's starting to drive me crazy about how these movies are being released.
Yeah.
So basically, Disaster Artist and Shape of Water did not come out.
No.
Because they were out in less than 20 theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they showed up on the app that I use. So
New app.
My apologies for everyone.
Well, I apologize because we got tickets thinking it was this last Friday, and no, it's next
Friday.
Yeah, that was taking it to another level of negligence.
Yeah.
Yes. But this week, no big movies came out at all. Mm-hmm. So, which is just kind of weird to me. But Coco won with 26 million.
Okay.
We all got that right.
Justice League came in second with 16.
Got that.
Wonder at 12.5. So, Trey, you were the one who picked Justice League for 2. I chose Disaster Artist. Spencer chose Shape of Water. So,
nice default win, Trey.
Thank you.
So now
I knew it all along.
That leads to this week, where it's Disaster Artist, Shape of Water, and then Just Getting Started which is like another Morgan Freeman, I'm old but I'm not dead and I can do bad things movie.
This is a strange week.
It
is. It's a very strange
because
week.
It's
Disaster
movies.
Artist is wide release. Too.
It's movies that I think they should potentially get awards buzz.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a critical weekend, but not a big box office weekend.
Right.
So for the purpose of this game, it'll be challenging.
Man.
Yes. So let's see. So right now it's Spencer 4, Adam 3, Trey 3. So either Trey or I will get to pick first, I guess.
You lost, so if
so
that's how
I'll
we're
go
doing
first.
it, you go first.
I think I'm going to pick Disaster Artist number 1.
Number 1.
Maybe this is information I should withhold, but Disaster Artist played in 19 theaters this week.
Yeah.
It still finished in the top 10 in
I think it's
gross.
I've been seeing a lot more maybe it's just the creepy Facebook people,
No, they're doing a legitimate a real marketing
I'm
push
seeing it
for this.
everywhere now.
Yeah.
And I thought about it more. Yeah, it does play like a movie anyone could watch. It's not just it definitely does.
Part of it is though that the cities where the movie was released is most likely movie making
Austin,
towns,
right?
And so
LA,
it'll be
Chicago,
the people who are more likely to be into the room and that sort of thing.
Right. It was a limited release where they know every showing is going to be a sellout.
Right. So I picked Disaster Artist. Trey, to you.
I'm going to pick Coco.
Okay.
Number 1.
Very
just
nice.
To be a little different, but we'll do second round later.
Okay.
Man, I feel like my brain tells me to do Coco, but my heart's telling me Disaster Artist, and I'm going with my heart. Disaster Artist.
Disaster Artist. Okay.
I'm going to pick Disaster Artist as number 2.
Okay, I'm going.
There are a lot of Cowboys fans who haven't seen Coco yet.
Yeah.
And Raiders fans.
Right, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick Coco number 2. I don't feel great about it.
Okay.
I'll make it fun, and we'll go 2 rounds. I'll pick Shape of Water number 2.
Nice.
I could very easily see that doing way better because it's supposed to be a super good movie.
It looks great.
I just don't. It feels as much as Disaster Artist seems niche.
Yeah,
I could see Shape of Water being niche, but if they're movie lovers,
right,
I think they would be more likely to go see Shape of Water than Disaster Artist.
I'm just hoping that.
Wait. Movie. I would think the opposite. If you love movies, you would want to see a movie about a filmmaker.
I think if you're into like.
It's
films.
2 different things. It's Guillermo del Toro. If you're into that guy and his work, I don't know. I guess you can make argument on each one.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that Coco. This is Coco's 3rd or 4th week.
4th.
So I'm hoping that, and then I'm hoping that they're both just positively reviewed enough just to get people who when there's not really anything else out.
Yep.
Go see that.
All right.
Again, though, there are a lot of Cowboys fans out there.
Yes.
And Raiders fans.
There are. Okay, so now we go to movies.
Yeah.
We go to our Star Wars.
Yeah,
talk?
This is the penultimate Star Wars. Well, I guess not really because we'll review The Last Jedi, but for our retro reviews, this is our penultimate one. We're gonna review Empire and Jedi today.
Yeah.
That is episode 5 and 6. And then next week we'll do Disaster Artist and the Force Awakens.
I think that sounds good to me.
Sure.
I'm kind of glad that we didn't see it this week because we would have 3 movies to talk about, and that's overkill.
Right.
So now it's just 2.
Yeah.
Adam, I mean, you do a great job at doing these. Leading us through this.
I'll try to do my best. It's
Spirit
hard
guide.
on 2 because it's kind of things get mixed together.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
I'm just hoping I have everything straight.
I
in
have
my
a bunch
brain,
of notes too, so I can help you out.
I watched them both this morning.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Or throughout the day today.
Okay.
Yes.
So
And it's weird because when I mentioned when I saw them back in high school when the DVDs came out, they both kind of meshed together. This time around, I totally they're very separate to me now.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're very separate movies.
Yes.
But anyway, we'll get to it. Empire Strikes Back. The Crawl.
Now Empire is 1980 and
Yes.
Jedi is 1983. When was New Hope?
77, 78?
I think it's 78.
All right, so they're about the same amount of time between each one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So The Crawl starts and it introduces a totally kind of new story to it. So the Death Star is gone, and it says that, but the Empire is still very powerful. Vader's sending people, and he's obsessed with Luke, and he's going to be the one who needs to get Luke. So we start off on Hoth.
Yes. Which, you start on Hoth. I didn't realize how quickly Luke got attacked, and I did not realize how quickly the Battle of Hoth was in that movie.
Yeah.
It's right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the most iconic battle in Star Wars is right at the beginning. Well, you would say it's the most iconic one, right?
The most iconic non-lightsaber battle.
Non-lightsaber and non-Death Star shooting the Death Star battle.
Right.
I guess there really aren't a lot of
land
battles.
battle.
That's maybe only 2 really land battles in the. I don't know. I mean, it's one of the most iconic scenes in the trilogy.
Yes.
It's on the cover of every single Star Wars game ever made.
Right.
The
AT-ATs walking in. So they go, they're in the snow. Luke gets lost in the snow.
Yes. I always like that kind of cold aesthetic. I like the really big binoculars. I always like those for some reason. That kind of the cold, weird cold frozen kind of tundra.
It's kind of cool because it's essentially the same as Tatooine while being the exact opposite, but it's the same feeling without having to be in the desert location again. So Luke gets attacked by that Yeti.
Yes.
In the snow.
Wampa or Wawa or something.
Yeah, whatever
Wampa.
it is. And he's like bloody immediately.
Now, the theory is because after the car crash, they wanted to give Luke a reason why his face looked different.
He looks very different.
Very different. And he looks even older in Jedi. And I guess it is a little passage of time, but he looks very different in Jedi too. Now, I read up on this, and George Lucas denies it. He denies it, and he's denied it to Mark Hamill that he did that because of his injuries. But Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher. I don't know why I just blanked out on that. But Carrie Fisher has said, yeah, that's absolutely the reason. So there's conflicting reports, but the rumor is that they did it to hide his injuries.
Mm-hmm. Either way, it was a pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's a cool sequence.
Yes,
right.
I that's one of the most memorable sequences for me.
And it's a cool way to introduce him, like learning the Force.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first time you ever see a Force pull. I believe him able to draw the lightsaber to him out of the snow.
Right. Aside from like the Vader choking,
right?
Like, so you know that there's like you're able to just manipulate.
This they really start playing with like, okay, so this is what the Force is. Now you can kind of do all these sort of things with it, and part of that is other people besides George Lucas having a hand in this movie, where you're able, kind of like as we talked about in The Leftovers, season 1 they stick to the book, season 2 they kind of take the idea from behind the books and expand on the things that they think are interesting to them,
and
which
made it a lot better season.
Exactly. And that's why I think Empire is a better movie than the original Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's tighter. Just generally, I think it is a tight movie. There is, and not just action-wise, just memorable scenery, memorable scenes, important scenes.
Yeah.
There is really no fluff in this movie at all.
And that's kind of crazy for a 2-hour-plus movie. Then there's the Princess Leia and Han stuff that's going on back. Han is leaving again.
Why doesn't he just leave, give the money to Jabba, and then come back?
Well, that's kind of that's what he's trying to do, but they're mad that they're mad that he's leaving at all.
Okay,
because they need him. But really, she wants him. It's kind of cool to see Han. So in the first one, it's all about money, and he talks about it, and we kind of talked about how he just kind of straight up says, "Oh, I'm only here for the reward, princess," and things like that. They're able to take that. Okay, it's a really good if this then what. So it's if he cares about money, then what else does he care about? And it's like, oh yeah, he wants to be loved, and it's that same sort of greed in the way he wants Leia to like be into him that leads to that same sort of drive for his character. So his character doesn't totally change in a sequel, which sometimes happens. But I think that's really cool.
I always enjoy the banter between Han and Chewie too. This one goes here, this one goes there. It's always fun.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
There's some just kind of crazy lines, but that's it. It's kind of charming in this movie, not so much a movie in 2001 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. The fake snow walls in the
Jeez, that thing's gonna crumble in at some point.
They're really, really bad. Just like white, kind of lumped walls. 3PO is like, oh hey, guess what? There's a 725-1 chance that they'll die after Han goes out to go save Luke. Yeah, which would be kind of funny if they just killed Han and Luke in the first 15 minutes. Of,
director's cut. You can see it happen. Speaking of, you just said 3PO. So I wanted to, maybe we don't have time for this, but it's C-3PO. They just call him 3PO sometimes. And then there's R2-D2, and they just call him R2 sometimes.
Right.
So why is it that you get the second half with 3PO?
This is a good question.
When R2-D2 is an R2 unit, so R2 would be just calling him
Mr.
It's just like how some people use some people's last names and first names. Like, I don't know. I call like David Mino. I don't call him David.
Right, but if everyone was named David, and you just called, then there's no reason to call someone David. If they're all R2 something.
3PO sounds better than CP.
Right, it's a sound thing, but it's
C3.
C3.
Hey, CP3.
C3P.
Well, there already is C3P. Yeah, the CP3 is the best. Chris Paul.
Yeah.
So it's got a ring.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the Tauntaun animations?
Yeah, stop motion animation. It's very jerky and
I I still would rather watch that than the reanimation that they might.
The 2001 animation, yeah.
And the thing, the Gungans kind of walk the same way.
Yeah.
In Phantom Menace.
Was opening up the Tauntaun to go get shelter. Was that the first time you ever knew you could do that in the wild? Like that's your first?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I probably would. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because there's that and there's like the Revenant.
Well, the Revenant came out a few years ago. I don't.
Right,
know.
but do you think like maybe this was a long time ago? Probably before the true events of the Revenant.
Saying
Hugh Glass?
Are you saying
is the real?
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Yeah, or he might be.
Think about it.
So then they get Luke and they bring him back.
Well, first Luke sees a vision of Obi-Wan. He says, "Go to the Dagobah system." Is it Dagobah or Dagobah?
Dagobah.
Dagobah. Okay.
Dagobah.
Go to the Dagobah system. Ooh,
yeah.
I should have.
And then Luke's all freaking out. So they go. They save him. And the Leia kissing Luke scene is so good for all three characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like.
I like Luke's face. I swear to God, it is so recent. Oh,
yeah, pimp.
Yeah.
Like I feel if you needed to have one scene and kind of get all the character dynamics, I think that scene does a great job of explaining who everyone is and kind of what role they play.
Yeah.
It may undersell Luke a little bit,
and it also is kind of deemed a little creepier now after you learn from the third one. Yeah,
I mean they didn't tongue it out.
No. I've had that where I'm like hanging with like a girl who's like a mutual friend of mine, and she's really pissed off at her boyfriend, so she kisses me. It was something like
what?
That. It was something like that.
When did this happen?
It's happened a long time ago. Don't worry about it.
Hell yeah!
You say like this has happened multiple times?
Once. Don't worry about it.
What was she mad at?
I don't know. She was just pissed off at her boyfriend, so she gets on me, and I'm like, okay.
Man, well, we're gonna have to save this for some off-air chat.
Luke's hair goes from like cool Paul McCartney to Ringo in this movie. It's much more coconut head.
Yeah,
and it gets even like just hasn't had a haircut in a month in Empire or no in Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So then they have the big fight on Hoth. They send down the AT-ATs. I thought it's kind of interesting, and something I didn't really remember. All the rebels are human, generally, and that doesn't change until
the third
until Jedi.
It might just be budget to get on.
It is a lot, of things. But I just kind of that's when I think of Star Wars, I think of a bunch of different things from different species, a bunch of like alien creatures working together.
Just brought that up.
Yeah, I thought I was looking at it and I was like, wow, there's a lot of white people here. And then
you could say that about the whole trilogy.
yeah. And then you got Dak.
Yep.
Dak
Prescott.
Dak's ready to take on the whole Empire.
Hey, it's me,
himself.
Dak Prescott for Hobbitons. We gotta stop the rebels.
And Dak,
it's me, Dak.
Dak gets in with a much more skilled partner, and
dies,
and then dies horribly, just like
the Cowboy season.
Dak Prescott.
Sports.
I think the AT-ATs are really cool.
Yes,
I know people are like, oh, that's not a good design to have.
It's cool
though. It's really cool looking and kind of representative.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, I mean, we already know that they're not this. They're incredibly smart and technically sound, but they make some really, really unsafe or unwise decisions. I mean, like having platforms all over the place with pitfalls with no guardrails.
No, like
None
the
at all.
Empire just was really into video games. They set their whole thing up to be a big video game. I mean, it's really all three movies are the Empire is set up like a video game level. It's very much a level. You know, it's weird how they do that.
I think the AT-ATs work kind of like how slow zombie movies work, where it's kind of more just like creepy thing. That being said, tripping them is pretty lame.
Yeah. And then they just explode. Like everything explodes in these movies.
Everything's got to explode.
Yes.
And then there's also kind of a inconsistency of what happens when ships get shot in a bunch of things. Like somehow Dak is killed. Like the laser comes in and just hits him, but Luke is totally fine.
Right.
And then Luke is able to crash land his ship, and everything else just explodes into fireballs.
If we're going to talk about how these heroes don't ever get hurt, we'll spend 5 hours on the podcast.
Right. They also have everything they would ever possibly need.
Oh, yeah.
Luke gets out of he's been flying a ship, which they did not anticipate ever having to get out of. He is carrying a grappling hook, a blaster, a lightsaber, a bunch of grenades. Like, he has so much stuff.
2 printers.
Yeah, he's got two printers just in case one fails him. That I think that's a really cool fight scene, though. In general. Yeah,
it's awesome, and again, it's totally a video game level.
Yeah,
and it's like I watched that, I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to go.
Yeah. Well, don't buy the new
play
one.
my PS2.
Yeah, PS2 one. Don't buy the new one. Then right after that, Luke's just like, I'm not going to tell my friends where I'm going. I'm going to the Dagobah system.
Right. I was told by a ghost while I was freezing to death that I need to go somewhere.
To a Dagobah. And he didn't even tell Luke or he didn't even tell Han or
didn't
Leia.
tell anybody.
And they're just like, wherever you went, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. They were so mad at Han, and he was like, hey, this guy is trying to kill me, which ends up coming back to haunt them terribly later in the movie.
Yes.
But
they're really unfair to Han Solo in this. Yeah. He's the Larry David of Star Wars.
Well, I mean, like, it's kind of, he's brought it upon himself by living a life of self-servitude.
Being real scruffy.
Yeah. And so, I'm not scruffy. Whereas,
Scruffy's a real great insult.
Yeah. You scruffy mofo. Anyways, go
on. So then Luke goes to the Dagobah system, and it's a swamp planet, which there's a lot of planets and not a lot of things going on.
A lot of snakes.
In these,
do they just have one snake?
They also have just regular animals in places. And if that was a movie today, it would be a lizard with 3 heads, and one of them would be red.
Yeah.
And so, because everything has to be space, because it's not
some
just
crazy ass deer running around.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So they go in the Dagobah system.
It's a very good point. That you know what? I guess I didn't really connect that. Yeah, I mean I connected it like the snakes and the lizards, but yeah, like you would usually see some kind of weird thing nowadays, not just regular animals.
Right.
And I don't know, I kind of miss just regular animals.
I mean, you go to like Madagascar or the Galapagos or something that's totally isolated, and you see animals that look like nothing else because that's what happens.
Yeah.
When they're animals that are not exposed to anything else.
Yeah.
So they crash land again. So Luke has crash landed twice in about 30 minutes into this movie.
Not a great pilot.
Right.
For as you know, all of his accolades, he's always crashing.
Well, the movie's trying to humble him. We're trying to show his weaknesses so we can see his strength later.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And then a monster eats R2.
Yeah, and spits him out.
And spits him out for no reason other than for him to go, wow!
Here, do it, Adam. Let's do it.
Spencer does it better.
Spencer?
Wow! All right, here's mine. Wow! Trey, now you. Oh, yeah. Well, Trey.
Lexi in the back?
Oh, yeah, Trey. Lexi's not going to do it. But, like, that monster never comes back for any reason.
It tastes bad.
I guess to add some sort of
I don't know.
tension to it. I don't know. So Luke is there, and then you kind of flash over to Vader, and you see Darth Vader's actually a human.
He's got a human head.
He's not a total robot.
He's Hayden Christensen, really.
This is when his
little clamshell.
Wait.
Yeah.
Was it an assumption in the first one that he was a robot?
I think it was a generally held assumption.
Okay.
I think that's the whole reason why that scene is there to set up that when he says he's Luke's father to be like, oh, he's a dude.
I never put that together.
Right. People would think that because you don't see his face. He doesn't speak like a normal human, really.
Okay.
He has weird
I guess
noises.
I just always assumed that he was a human. I don't know.
I could.
No, I mean that's.
I could see it.
Yeah. No, I mean I could see why they would do that to signify he's human. Yeah.
He breathes. Yes, he does breathe. which would suggest that he's not. But like robots feel pain and stuff in this.
Yeah, in the second or the third
like,
one. Yeah.
3PO is very afraid to get his feet burned.
Yeah,
like what?
They have feelings.
Hey, Anakin, what are you doing? Making him feel pain in his feet.
Anakin's doing a lot of weird things.
This is my interpreter, and I want him to hurt.
Yeah. He feels pain.
He also has a protocol where he can't act like a god for some reason.
Right,
can't be a deity.
It's against my protocol.
Yeah,
he's like, damn it.
He was going to. He was going to add the thing where he's allowed to act like a god, but he got a little busy being a slave.
Pod racing, all that.
Most amateur engineer ever. Just
what do you think is in Darth Vader's little clam shell?
Oh
his
God!
Little breathing apparatus?
No,
that's where
his like little egg that he just like sleeps in.
Probably,
I guess because it just opens up and people talk to him and then it closes back up like he's a little pearl sitting in there.
It's probably got like a little TV with an Atari set up and he's got Pong and he's just scoring every goal.
He's got some Yoo-Hoos and a mini fridge,
Just thinking about how much he hates sand.
Yeah. Sand.
It's coarse and rough.
Gets everywhere.
So then you go to the Millennium Falcon. That was weird.
Falcon. They say Falcon all the time.
A lot. Mm-hmm.
Falcon.
Also, the way they say Han and Han
they
changes constantly.
And
Leia
Solo.
and Leia. Yeah.
Han Solo.
I think Han and 3PO is a very cool. It's a very fun dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of moments where they're trying to figure out where they are, what they're doing.
C-3PO is such a cock block too.
Yeah, that's the scene I'm talking about. When also Han 100% would not survive 2017.
No. Well, most characters in anything from 70s and 80s movies. I mean, look back at Goldfinger, and James Bond's a rapist in that, like a legit rapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what does Leia say? She says, hey, Han's like, don't get excited. And she's like, it takes a lot more than that to get me excited. And he was like, I didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
He horny.
We didn't even talk about Yoda being okay.
Because they go back and forth. Yeah. Yoda comes out, and he's just like Gonzo from the Muppets.
Yeah. He's a strange character in this movie.
Yes. And, I was looking into that whole theory about Jar Jar being a Sith Lord, and there was like a quote from George Lucas that was like, he was trying to mirror the trilogy. He was trying to mirror Jar Jar to be like Yoda, where you'll find his true nature later. Which, if that's true, the thing is with Yoda is he's like he's an idiot for like 10 minutes, but then you realize, okay, this is what's going on. You never realize that with Jar Jar ever.
It's weird though, because he is acting like a manic, like this crazy person. Yeah, and then he calms down and he never reaches that again.
Right. He goes. He steals his food.
Yes, his little tackle box of food.
Right. And then he goes and he gets in a fight with R2, and like the puppetry is so like weird, where he just like lightly taps it with his stick. And
it's very puppety.
Yeah. Do you know the kind of story behind the Yoda voice?
No.
Not how it is flipped around, but Frank Oz is the puppeteer who does it, and he's the voice. But he was originally just supposed to be the puppet. And so he went and he was doing the puppetry, and he was like, yeah, and then I'll walk over here, and then I'll say something like, you do this. And they were like, yeah, he would sound like that, wouldn't he?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so they just let him do the voice, which
I like that.
Yeah,
that's
which is a cool story.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So then you find out about the Emperor for the first time.
Yes.
And Vader has to go and talk to the Emperor, but the Emperor's hologram is so huge. Is it a huge Emperor?
Maybe he's Snoke.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of the exact same thing, where it's just like an enormous head, which is kind of the Snoke thing that they want. Wouldn't it be funnier if Snoke was very small?
Just a tiny man.
He's a tiny little Snoke.
It's little Snoke. I would like that. I would like little Snoke.
And then, so I would understand this line in the first movie, but in this movie, when the Emperor says to Vader, he's like, "Oh, he is the child of Anakin Skywalker."
Yeah, that's a weird line.
I think what they really try to like hit home is like he's not Anakin Skywalker anymore.
Right.
So if he's like he doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, he said that in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So if Anakin is mentioned, it's not Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is, but it isn't.
Yeah, I think so, and I think they were just trying not to give away the whole twist too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I think that also by saying it like that and then really hitting home, like, oh, he has changed. It's been like a metamorphosis or whatnot. That also kind of cleans up that maybe they weren't planning on this being the route in the first movie,
right?
Or in New Hope.
So then the Millennium Falcon gets stuck in that asteroid monster.
Yes, which is cool.
That was cool.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. What does that asteroid monster do all the time? Does he just sit there and just swallows bats and
he cannot
ships?
Survive?
He doesn't need a lot. Just needs like one ship every millennium.
What is he like? Generally, when you see animals, they like their goal is singularly to fuck.
Yeah.
So what is this space asteroid monster doing? Is he just waiting, hoping for?
There could be more tunnels.
Is there a lady asteroid monster somewhere? I think this needs to be explored.
Yep.
Give it its own movie.
Give it like a Sleepless in Seattle movie.
This could be the Obi-Wan movie.
Right. That's good. I like a spin-off where like Rogue One was the war movie. It's like a love movie about the asteroid monster being just lost in space, just looking for something.
Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Everyone is in agreement. This is a great idea.
Yep.
So then we go back, and Luke is training with Yoda now, and Yoda's finally serious.
I didn't understand the timeline in this. It seemed like it was a day they were training.
Right.
Yeah.
If it does, because it goes along with the Han and Leia stuff and them going out and getting.
It's like a matter of hours.
Yeah, he's just hanging out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he's too old.
Right.
I guess I could teach him in a day.
Yes.
And then when Luke goes into the tree and sees
the cave.
Yeah. He goes into the cave, and then Vader comes out, and he has his dream fight with Vader, and he cuts off his head, and fire comes out of the neck hole. And then it's him inside. The whole time is big fear. And then that's when he feels that Han and Leia are in trouble.
You know what? I just realized Harry Potter totally stole that whole
that same scene?
Or not the same scene, but the idea that the villain is using his friends and loved ones as a trap.
Right.
Because Harry Potter in Book 5 was serious.
Yes.
Voldemort was trying to lure Harry to Minister of Magic, the Hall of Prophecies. Yeah, they totally ripped that off, J.K. Rowling.
Thinks she's so cool.
She thinks she's so awesome.
So then,
I don't know. I like the whole cave thing. I think that's kind of cool storytelling. That's not really. I don't mean to shit on the prequels because we did that plenty. But it's like that wasn't really in those movies. Like that kind of interesting, cool storytelling where it's an allegory and sort of metaphors and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
And it's a dream. It doesn't necessarily need to be real.
No. Yeah.
Or anything. So then Han and company are trying to leave. When him trying to get the Falcon to be able to jump to light speed, and whenever it doesn't work, is always great.
Yeah.
Like his just reactions and his things.
It's not fair.
Right, yeah. He's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or like when 3PO does his analysis and is like, hey, we need to check the... He's like, oh, what? You think I didn't do that? And he's like, hey, maybe we need to go and check this out. But also in Jedi, Lando, or maybe it's not in Jedi. Maybe it's later in this movie. Lando does the exact same thing.
Yeah, he does.
They have like the exact same line.
I thought we fixed that. I thought they fixed it.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Which is pretty pretty great.
Yeah.
Also, you know that you've heard the stories from Carrie Fisher about how everyone in this movie is on cocaine.
Yeah.
Just the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of think about that.
Especially Frank Oz.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. He was supposed to come out and be like, "What's up? I'm a wise Jedi Master." And he's like, "No, I got a great idea." He's hungry and he's mad at robots. Luke looks a ton older. That's because of his
damage to his face.
He's
got a weird again, it's his face, but he's got like a weird like lip thing going on.
Yeah.
Where it just looks really puffy.
Yeah.
And again, that's probably unfair because he was almost died, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
he
then
also looks ripped though.
Yeah.
Like you don't see a lot of him like, with short sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's doing like those handstands, you're like,
yeah,
that's a nice physique got there, Luke.
Yeah.
Now he's all fat and old.
Yeah.
That's what happens to you boys when you grow up. No one loves you anymore.
So then the Falcon, they go and they hide on the ship, and then they cast off. There's no like rear view camera on it because Boba Fett is following behind, like 30 feet behind him, just hanging out as they decide to go to see Lando. And they're like, "What, the Lando system?" It's like, "No, my friend, Lando."
There's a whole bunch of lines that I bet you see in the new
Han Solo movie. I wrote down the exact same thing. Lando losing the Falcon to Han is 100%.
He'll be there
in that movie. Thing. Let's see. So then
the whole reason why he's upset, when he comes there,
right?
The trail, we'll be there.
There's a bunch of stuff that I have written down. So then Luke decides he's gonna go and he's gonna save them because they're in danger or whatever. And then Yoda talks to Obi-Wan?
Yes, they kind of talk to each other. Yes.
And then they drop "There is another."
Yes,
he's like, well,
and it looks like a play for a second where it gets all red. It seems like a play for a little bit there where they change the mood, lighting and stuff.
Yeah, but him saying that there is another is kind of like, we'll figure it out later. Because they've kind of set it up. The whole first movie is like, all right, this guy, he's the one who's going to bring the balance to the Force. This is the last thing that we need. This is our last hope. And then he kind of leaves. And Yoda's like, we still have one more chance if he dies.
And and it just seems like I don't necessarily get the logic of the Jedi. The whole you can't help these people with your emotions. Don't be emotional. It's like, I don't know. I'm not into that. Help your friends out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also that's the whole reason that Leia is his sister.
Yes.
Is that line? I feel like they wrote it and they were like, okay, We'll figure it out later. This is kind of an interesting thing to say, and this one we'll figure it out later. And then I think they got to the third movie, and they were like, I don't know, it's Leia.
Yeah.
Rather than bringing in someone completely new.
I could see that.
So they're walking around in Cloud City, and 3PO gets just straight up shot.
Yes.
When he walks in. And Chewie is just kind of hanging out by a bunch of trash and finds him.
Yeah. And puts them together.
It's like he walks around. I guess he heard him yell, and then all of a sudden he's like, I know where to go.
Yeah. But then like he got shot and he's just kind of like blown apart.
Yeah. Every piece.
It's I don't know, just kind of weird. I have some stuff written down that doesn't make any sense. I don't remember what it...
Just read it. And
read it.
We'll try to see what you were saying.
Having trouble with your droid? No. Pan to destroyed pile... Oh, I remember. Okay, yeah. So Lando comes in, and there's just a pile of 3PO parts after he's been shot. And Lando goes, Are you having any trouble with your droid? And Han goes, no. But it's just like completely destroyed.
This is exactly how I want him.
Yeah.
Just like my ship.
I don't know. That was funny to me. So then they go and they're like, all right, this Lando guy, he's really cool. They open up the door and Vader doing his Vader thing. He's just sitting, waiting for people to come.
Waiting for his coffee or maybe the lunch tray,
at the dinner table.
And the only black guy in the universe is a backstabber. That George Lucas.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So then Vader goes and tortures.
Yeah, a weird
Han.
ass torture device.
His second different torture device in as many movies.
Mm-hmm.
What
was the first one?
It was the just floating black orb with the big needle.
I remember that, yeah.
And Han is tortured for no reason, which is he's
the
like,
reason was to get Luke there because he could sense the pain and he knew his friends were in trouble.
He's like, oh, they didn't even ask me any questions.
Yeah,
which that's really cool. And Harrison Ford at the end of this movie is really good.
Yes.
I Love You, I Know is probably the best. That wasn't written. That was an ad lib. And I think
it's a great line.
It's so good.
Yes. There's a lot of great lines in this movie. Like Yoda, do or do not, there is no try.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. There's some really good lines.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was telling Lexi we need to get that framed.
The I Love You, I Know.
No, do or
do not.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne Gretzky.
And Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, yeah, the whole. We'll get to there. When we get to there, I guess.
So then Lando feels bad because Darth Vader, I've altered the deal. I pray I do not alter it further, which is another great line.
Mm-hmm.
And also just him being a bad guy. He's just like, oh yeah, I made this deal and I'm just going to keep screwing you. Does Lando control that bald man? Because they're like walking out and he presses his little Apple Watch and then the guy is just like asleep and he wakes up.
I don't know.
And then they start getting the jump on a bunch of people. The final fight between Vader and Luke before it moves outside looks amazing. When they're in that building and it's just the orange and blue with all the smoke and the steam.
It is really cool looking. And I even wrote that somewhere. I wrote cool atmosphere for a lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
And why is Darth Vader swinging to kill?
Yeah.
Like, he is just going at him.
Right.
Yeah. I guess you got to make a cool fight, but
yeah. Lando pulls the old Order 66.
Yeah.
Execute Order 66, everybody. Turns around and they're like, oh no, we've been gotten. Also, one thing I saw, why does Chewie wear shoes?
He's wearing shoes? I didn't notice that.
I never noticed him wearing shoes.
He wears, I was watching him walking around, he's just wearing shoes.
Man.
Which is insane to think. I'm pretty sure in the prequels, the Wookiees don't. I don't even know if he's necessarily supposed to wear shoes.
Or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Go back and look because
really
it's weird. He has just like black sole shoes that you can't.
It's like a Nike swoop on him.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so he doesn't burn his feet. Okay. Yeah, that's right. It's pretty dumb to walk around without shoes on, just kind of in general.
I got a text from Matt Birmingham. I don't know if he's listening or not, but he wants us to comment on Boba Fett. My question is, how did Boba Fett get popular?
I think there was things that happened in between.
Mm-hmm.
Where like the Star Wars Christmas special and stuff like that, he's a big character.
Yeah. I thought the Christmas special was terrible, though.
The Christmas special is terrible, but it's part of the lore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how he gets to be cool. Mm-hmm. Like in the third one, especially, it's not just that interesting.
And I guess he has a cool outfit.
I think it's probably the outfit. Yeah. And at the time, it's he doesn't do a bunch, but he looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
he's the only like not bug guy of the bounty hunters that is.
I guess bounty hunter is just a cool thing in general. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a movie that kind of popularized movie toys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he probably is able to look close to the real thing. Whereas
and I remember my my best friend growing up dressed up as Boba Fett for Halloween. I thought that was the coolest thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, it's cool looking.
And I mean, it also is probably people will be like, "Oh, who's your favorite character?" And it'd be like, "Oh yeah, my favorite character is Luke." It's like, "Oh, the main character." Like,
he's a cool secondary character.
Oh no, I like Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, I like Salacious Crumb.
I like Bib Fortuna.
Yeah. One of the let's see. So then Han gets frozen carbonite,
which is one of the most. As a kid, I was always unsettled by that being frozen in carbonite. Yeah, that always got me as a kid. Yeah.
And so they go and they are able to wheel it out into Boba. Yeah, where it floats, which that's really cool. That's a really cool shot. And the Boba Fett's ship, and he flies away. And Carrie Fisher's face as it flies away is really great. As she's like, "Oh no, Han," because she loves him.
But here's another thing. So he's in like handcuffs when he goes down there, right?
I don't remember. Maybe he is.
I think I remember him being in handcuffs as he's lowered, but then he's like this, hands up when he's frozen.
Interesting.
So I would have to go back and rewatch, but that's how I'm remembering it.
Yes. Then they go back to the fight where there's Luke and Vader. And Vader is just force pulling a bunch of things at Luke, and he's just swinging wildly around, where he just kind of gets like knocked by like file cabinets and stuff that they just have sitting around. And that's the worst part of this movie, I would say. Mm-hmm. It's like right before the best part.
And that is, again, there's just so many cool locations in this movie. The whole set where he is, like I'm your father, and then him falling on that wire, like those just so cool.
I don't remember the fall.
Death. Oh yeah, that's a famous plunge to your death fall, Luke.
I kind of remember him falling and then catching, but like it's like a video of him that is like kind of awkwardly falls into the right place and does it. I don't remember it looking like that. Yeah,
it's weird.
I think the Vader reveal is about as good as any scene. And I can't imagine what, like, if I could justify why Star Wars is as big as it is among like kids. I guess kids, they like blasters and everything, but like finding out for the first time that Vader is Luke's father, I could feel as being like a moment where like people would physically be like, "Oh shit!"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. It's one of those things where it's like, as a kid, every all over the playground, whatever, every kid is, "Luke, I'm your father."
Right.
Misquoting it, but it's like everybody knows this.
It is so ingrained in our
it's crazy.
Culture. Yeah.
So I do wonder, like, even now as like Star Wars is still relevant, if that's something kids know. Like kids just know Luke is Darth Vader's son. It'd be cool to like make sure like your kids don't know about that. Make sure they get like the surprise,
right?
Or there are those movies that are spoiled for everyone because it's part of like the zeitgeist.
Yes.
Like I don't know.
I like that word, by the way, Spencer's. I like to use that word, so thank you for using that word.
How
use that
one point? Zeitgeist point.
Yeah, zeitgeist point.
It'd be like the Sixth Sense, where
I see dead people.
Where Bruce Willis has been dead the whole time.
I've never seen Sixth Sense, and now it's because like I know what happens. I want to watch it.
So then Lando does the lightspeed thing at the end of this movie, where he's like, "What? It's not my fault." Also, Lando's wearing Han's clothes. What?
He needs some clothes, man.
Why? He had his cool sky blue cape. He looked great.
Maybe that's pilot's clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's true. I think this movie is really good because it's more real, because they kind of beat the odds consistently in movies like this, and that's kind of the whole point of this. But eventually, it's like, no, this is going to catch up to you. Sometimes the bad guys win.
Well, yeah, like the quote, Clerks is a series of bad endings, or series of down endings. That's the quote. Yeah, I mean, it ends in a very twisty down note, and it's like life. Life is a series of down endings, Dante.
Right.
It's or I guess it was Randall who said it, but it's it's real. It ends in a really cool cliffhanger and iconic moment, and there's so many iconic moments in this movie.
I'm trying to remember. This doesn't end with a big parade celebration.
No. The only one.
Is the only one?
It's the only one that doesn't end in a parade. Wow.
No,
Force Awakens doesn't. Oh, no. Does it?
No, I don't think it does.
Rogue.
Well,
I mean,
they
if we're
wouldn't have
counting
a
Rogue
parade.
One. It
No,
No.
Rogue
That
One
ends
was
with decimation.
It doesn't. The
I know Carrie Fisher and Ray hug.
Revenge of the Sith, it doesn't end in a parade.
Well, it ends in a big old dance. Oh, Revenge of the Sith, no, it doesn't. It ends in the. I thought there was
No.
there is a no in Return of
That's
the Jedi.
I have that written down as
Yeah.
well. Because there is in Phantom Menace. There's the
Yes.
Gungan parade,
There is.
and then in the second one,
There's a wedding, which is kind of like a
well,
parade.
yeah, but that's at the.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of parades.
There are a
People
lot of
love
parades.
parades. Space
Yep.
parades rule.
Yeah, they do. So I guess we're gonna rate this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Laugh and halves.
I do 5.
5.
2 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Being a real jerk.
Dang.
Yeah, 5. Yeah,
Oh.
5. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway,
Awesome.
Can you
all right.
add like applause?
Is this?
No, like
That's
you
too
know,
much work.
Like no Mickey Mouse stuff. Like
Is this our first consensus 5?
No, we've had it before. Oh, consensus 5?
Yeah.
what did we all rate Sacred Deer?
I think I gave it a 4.5.
Yeah.
I gave it a 5.
I think I gave it a 5.
I think okay. So
We'd have to go back to like earlier ones too. I don't know.
I don't
like.
we
during the
haven't
summer,
done a bunch of
reviews.
of like classic movies
yeah.
that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
get
classic
5s, you know.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay. So 3 5s. Watch it. And
Yeah.
I think it works on its own even without
I would say so.
seeing the first. I mean, obviously it works better with the first one
Yeah.
to kind of know some things, but I think
Well,
you could probably watch it
and I-
without seeing anything else.
Right.
I
You could just
saw-
jump into
I
it.
saw Lexi Snapchat you, and was that like your niece or something?
That's
Watching
my
the third
niece
one?
Jude. Jude was super into it.
Was did she just see the third one or?
I guess we were watching the third one
Yeah.
by then, and I mean, yeah, she's a 1.5. So
Yeah, yeah.
She
all
wouldn't
those
re-
movies seem pretty accessible, like just to watch.
Mhm.
You know, even if when you're a kid, you don't really know what's going on as far as the plot. You just like all the shooting.
yeah, she started watching it. She like jumped in, the 1.5-year-old,
Mhm.
like in like the second cantina scene.
Yeah.
She loved the jazz.
Yeah.
Jizz.
Ooh.
I wasn't gonna say that because
It's
I'm talking about my
jazz.
niece,
Oh.
but she loved it. She was dancing to it.
Oh,
The
the new song.
This the new one
Oh,
where
the
now
new
there's like
one.
singing and
Yeah.
it's like a little bit funkier.
You got that blue elephant with his fingers that are like folding on the keys.
I was
so good.
pumped to see more Cantina.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Return of the Jedi.
Return
Now,
of the Jedi.
I want to say, and I'm going to still hold this. This is a little spoiler for the end. I never got the hate for this movie.
Okay.
I never understood the hate for it, and I
Interesting.
still don't really hate it.
Interesting.
I don't hate it.
I don't-
I understand why people hate it, and I definitely don't like a lot of things about it. But I don't think it's one of the worst Star Wars movies.
I don't think I don't hate it, but it, especially after the last one, the drop off in quality is severe. I would say.
Yeah, I also was I was pretty burnt out. We've been
Mhm.
watching a lot of Star Wars, and I watched these both today.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that might have shaped my viewing, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it's clearly still above. I mean, like Episode 1, obviously, and then
Right.
Yes.
I think
Episode-
it's better than all 3 prequels.
Right. I thought
I-
it was fine. I think the fact that it's a follow up to
Yes.
a
That.
classic with the best
Yeah.
of the series that
Right.
hurts it
Yes.
because you're comparing it.
I think I really like Jabba's palace, and I think that maybe sways it
Interesting.
for me.
Okay. So they're back on Tatooine. Luke needs to get Han back.
Mm-hmm.
Death Star 2.0 is coming.
Yeah. When did they start building that?
Uh,
Like I said, how long ago? I never really know the timeline in these movies.
yeah. There's not really a
No.
clear time.
And also, like now, Luke's like this Master Jedi. When did that happen? When
Right,
did he become
yeah.
like the man?
The time has passed because
Yes.
he, I guess, as Han's been stuck in carbonite,
Yeah.
he decided I'm gonna go hang out with my cool frog friend.
Yeah.
And,
Well, no, because when he goes back, he says, "I promised I would come back." So he hasn't come back.
Well, but I wonder if maybe he's come back multiple times.
I don't know.
That's how I always thought.
Okay.
I thought that he went and he trained
they're
more.
like, you can't leave. He's like, I promise I'll come back again.
Okay.
So the Emperor is coming as well.
Mm-hmm.
This one, as much as other ones, this also feels like a revamping of New Hope.
Yes, definitely. With the
added of saving Han.
Yeah.
It feels kind of New Hope-y with the Emperor playing the role of Vader.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And the whole that's again, there are things I definitely don't like about this, but I don't think it's this horrible, movie that people make it out to be. Yeah, like the whole, oh God, the center of the Death Star is the weakness again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it starts off with 3PO and R2 walking up to the palace, to Jabba's palace, which, if you're going to have a palace, put it in the middle of nowhere, you guys. You don't need to worry about getting your food.
It's hideout.
Is it a hideout?
Yeah, it's like his hideout. He's a big gangster, man. You got to have a hideout.
Well, it's good to have it with nothing else around.
You got people to get things, He's like a mafioso. He's like a Goodfellas, where he has like 3 people doing his calls. You call Paulie. Paulie goes over. He calls Sal. Sal gets the biscuits. Sal gets the money from Gino. Gino goes over to Vinny, gets the money, transfers it over to Vinny. Vinny comes over, gets to Paulie, and then you got Big Tommy Walnuts over there. That's the whole thing. That's Jabba.
And one of them looks like Kirk.
Exactly.
One of the underlings.
The
guy with the red eyes.
Bib Fortuna.
Is that Bib Fortuna?
The big old tentacle on his head?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Kirk.
Okay. Yeah, that's Kirk. That's the Kirk. I just thought of him as Kirk.
Yeah.
So you go into Jabba's palace. Jabba's like a cool leader of a frat.
Cool. Yeah.
He hangs out. He's smoking hookah.
Yeah.
There's girls that have to be there. He's got his boys hanging out. He's got little Salacious Crumb, the little Muppet. He's just like his yes man.
That's his pledge.
Yeah, that's his pledge.
That's his little pledge.
He's going and things are going pretty well. It's good to be Jabba.
All right.
Here's a question. So all of his slaves are either human or humanoid.
Mm-hmm. He's into that.
So how?
I mean, be into
I just want to know how Jabba reproduces.
I mean, does he have a wife too? I guess that doesn't really matter, but
he does in Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
He has another slug bride.
He's like Jerry Jones.
He has offloaded her years ago by now.
Yeah,
right.
That is
She's
just
gone.
For appearances.
Now he's hanging out with green chicks
Yes.
and other ones. He has his little Matt Lauer button go
he does.
and just drop girls in and watch them get attacked by monsters.
I like that monster, by the way.
The Rancor.
I thought that is Rancor is cool.
It's a cool looking one.
I always liked Jabba too. I thought he was so gross and vile and awesome.
I don't remember him having as much snot.
Oh yeah,
and
totally. The food on his face and that big old tongue.
I remember the tongue because he does
Harvey
the
Weinstein tongue.
When he gets choked, he's like,
yeah.
Lexi has a comment.
Oh, okay. So Spencer's niece was very scared, or just knew he was gross. Just did not like Jabba.
She's a good judge of character. That Jude.
So they go and they transmit the message from Luke to Jabba, asking, "Hey, what does he even ask for?"
He pretty much is like, "Hey, we'll you pay off. We'll pretty much set Han free, and we'll give you these 2 droids. If you just clear his debt, we'll give you these 2 droids. Pretty much.
Right. But
they already had him.
Right.
Also, I wasn't watching with subtitles, so
you don't know anything that Jabba's saying.
I don't.
3PO's real mad about Luke giving him away.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, he's never expressed any displeasure with my work." But it's like, what translating are you doing?
He did finally translate.
He does
finally.
for the Ewoks.
Yeah.
But before that point,
no translating. He's not done much.
Just
but
realized
bitch.
I don't need an interpreter robot just coming around meddling and ruining everything.
Yeah.
trying to hold back R2 from doing anything helpful.
Right. So then you have the Jizz Band. There's
oh god, that looked like Men in Black. All those aliens did.
There's Lady Greedo,
yes,
who is really cool. There's the guy who's just like kind of a six-pack. Is that he just has like a big nose, and then he comes out and just does like DMX, like what?
Dude, it is bad. That it looked like Men in Black. Like it was looking bad.
No, I love
Men in Black, but I don't know, man.
No, that music was awesome.
Give me just the horn section. It's a long music break too.
Yeah,
like the Cantina music is iconic, but it only really plays full for just a second
and
as
then it's
you show things are going on around it.
But
this was just like a full music video.
This was really fan service for people like me who were like, I just want some more jizz.
Right. And then Jabba's really cool with blackmail and threats of violence from Luke, who's just kind of talking there, and Jabba's like, ha ha ha.
And is this the first time we've seen Jabba in the trilogy besides that scene they added in?
Right.
Yeah, it's first time.
So, which I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive, because the Jabba in that scene with Han the scene with Han is CGI.
Yes.
This is a giant.
This is a
puppet.
Yes.
So I think it had to have been added.
No, it is, because I've seen
positive.
I looked at some of the old footage. It's just like some fat British guy in there. Yeah.
So then, wait, before Luke comes, I'm sorry, I meant to say Leia dressed up as the bounty hunter is the one that threatens the blackmail and violence.
Yes.
She goes, and 3PO's like, oh, he has a thermal detonator. And Jabba's like, ha ha ha, this guy's fucking rules. Because Jabba's cool frat guy, and it's like, what, this guy brought a grenade?
That's
Hell
awesome.
Yeah, this dude rules. You can roll with my crew.
Sure.
And so then Leia goes, and everything's kind of quiet. It's nighttime. She unfreezes Han and pulls it off. And Jabba's just been hiding behind the curtain.
That's the funniest thing. Hey, fooled you.
What was Leia doing in between, where she thought they were all gone?
But it wasn't just Jabba. It was Jabba and all of his lackeys.
His whole crew.
The whole fraternity was there.
The band is there. Yeah, they're all just there, totally quiet.
Like, Jabba, you sure he's going to come down here and unfreeze?
No, dude, trust me. He's going to
Don't trust me.
Dude, bro, trust me, bro.
It's going to be awesome.
It's totally great.
So then Luke comes in, and he sees Leia all chained up, and Han's all blind.
Was that one of your image save kind of things as a kid? That the whole
Leia in the bikini. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I remember it was pretty cool.
You want to know what mine was?
No.
Okay.
No. What was it?
In Austin Powers, the first one.
The fembots?
The fembots, when they're doing like these boots were made for walking or something. Yeah. I would lock the door and just watch that scene. I was too young to do anything else, but I watched that scene.
Just over and over again.
That's pretty cool. So then Luke goes and gets the trapdoor sprung on him again. Mm-hmm. And so he goes, gets sent to the Rancor, who, like, it doesn't look great, but it looks, I think, again, better than the Gungans.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks better. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Everyone is really surprised when the Rancor loses. That one guy cries.
I love that. That is one of the funniest
That
things.
was bizarre.
Like, there's so funny.
This is your
like,
pet?
Oh
or...
I guess it's his pet. Yeah. But everyone's like, Jabba freaks out when Luke finally kills him. But at no point does the Rancor ever look in control in that fight.
That's why it's so funny. Well, it's just so funny. Like, you just cry over this thing you cannot tame this thing.
Right.
It is just, it is a monster.
How'd you even get it down there?
I don't know.
But
so then they go out to the pit where
the Snorlax pit.
Yeah, where Luke and Han are going to be fed into it and digested for
I did like this
1,000
scene.
years. This is a really good scene.
These are cool stakes of you fall and you're in this terrible pit of digestion.
So they go and when they go around and everyone nods to each other very, very slowly. I know in the Family Guy one, they have that bit go on for very long, and it made me think of it because it lasts so long. Yeah. Everybody is just ready. R2's serving drinks.
Yeah, and
why are you serving drinks?
C-3PO's just a turncoat. Just
3PO's just walking around. He's like, "Whoa, we were given to this guy. I'm going to serve him responsibly."
Again, Anakin with some questionable program.
Yes.
Why
do they even keep C-3PO around? What's his even?
There's no point. He's a fun character.
Yeah,
I think
there's no practical use for him.
No,
I think it's because he clearly has feelings and emotions, and so I think it's just kind of a loyalty for them at this point. It's like, well, he wants to be around us.
It's like why you keep Austin around still, you know?
It's exactly
yes,
exactly.
The first guy who gets knocked into the pit, great Wilhelm.
Yeah, that is the best.
It's so good.
For that Wilhelm. But yeah, Luke does that awesome psych
diving. Yeah, he jumps and grabs onto the diving board and then does a flip, which I guess that is the influence for all of the prequels where they're like, oh yeah,
well
they all do gymnastics.
He does jump a lot onto platforms and
stuff
too.
There are several instances in this movie of just insane Jedi gymnastics.
Right.
We can get into it, but when Vader gets pushed down the stairs and he's like, no, I'm just going to do a levitation backflip down the staircase.
Yes. So now get into probably what Matt was talking about, Boba Fett.
Yes.
Finally. I guess so in the first one, his role is follow them, see where they're going, and let Vader get ahead of them and kind of cut them off, essentially. So that's his role. In this one, he's just bodyguard for Jabba. He goes, shit starts going down. He pulls out his little wrist rocket. Or no, he pulls out his blaster first. It's chopped in half immediately by Luke. Goes to his wrist rocket, which gets knocked away immediately. Gets knocked by Han, who is blind, doing his best daredevil thing. He's like, wait, what's going on? And just bumps his back, and he just shoots straight off into the pit.
And now, here's another thing. Why is Han so happy to see Lando? Because Han was, the last thing he saw of Lando was him betraying him.
Yeah, that's true.
And now he's all, oh, thank God Lando's here.
I guess he's quick to forgive. He knows, the options were slim for Lando. Han might have done the exact same thing, but Lando did, stick his neck out to try to go back and get him. And he's like, okay, I'm not going to hold a grudge.
I'll take you for that. I'll take you on that. All right.
So I know the story of why Boba Fett has such a terrible death.
Let's go.
So Boba Fett, for whatever reason, is a very popular character. And they started talking about spin-offs and doing more movies. And George Lucas said, I'm done with these movies. I'm going to kill him the very first chance that I get in the movie. And so that's why Boba Fett dies.
Okay. Wow.
Which,
I mean, could always do a thing with that, though. The real story, he gets out of the Snarlack pit somehow.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
If he really wanted to.
Yeah, if he wanted to.
So then what caused the change of heart for George?
I don't know.
Yeah.
20 years, and he was like, how about $1 billion? That sounds nice.
I mean, distance makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Yeah.
And they did open up the door for a Boba Fett spinoff by just making him the clone of Jango Fett.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
In the lightsaber in this, Luke is going and kind of hacking people, but they don't fall apart.
No.
They just kind of die when it passes through them. There's no Darth Maul.
I think
there would have been body parts.
This
everywhere.
movie is aiming towards the kid audience a little bit.
This is
the Ghostbusters 2 of the Star Wars.
This is very kid.
Yes.
One. I feel like after the second one, maybe that's when. I mean, I don't know, because the first one's supposed to be that way too, where the toys and all that stuff took off. But this is when it becomes economics.
Yes.
Right.
I feel
They're catering
at the
towards
expense
them
of
as the primary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, that Jabba scene though is very suggestive.
Right.
You know.
No, you're
so
right.
There's still.
You got to give him a little something for Daddy. Daddy's taking the kids. He needs something. Just leave a little something for Daddy.
Jeez. All right. Is that what your dad was saying?
What
on
you
the way
gonna
to
take me
Star
to
Wars?
Gonna take me to some weird monster movie? How about you giving me a little something?
Give me that Carrie Fisher. Come on.
A little something for Daddy. All the dads who physically look like Jabba the Hutt.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Ipacho Daddy.
Oh, Star Wars. Carrie Fisher.
When Carrie Fisher chokes Jabba and his tongue sticks out, it's very funny to me. I don't know. So then they go and they escape. I think that's a really good scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
This movie,
At the very least, it's fun.
Yes. This movie, unlike Empire, was very fluff. There was a lot of fluff for maybe an hour worth of plot and action.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like,
I agree.
I could see that's why people didn't like it as well, because there's a lot of fluff.
So then Luke goes and talks to Yoda and is like, "Hey, is Vader my dad?" And Yoda's like, I'm pretty tired.
I gotta go to bed.
I'm gonna go to
die while I give you exposition.
Yeah, and so then he goes and he's like, yeah, you can.
Adam, can you
he's your dad.
Can you do an impression of Yoda's last words?
I don't remember what it. There is another
Good. And he dies. Good job.
And then he disappears.
Yeah.
Which that like why
why
does Yoda have to die?
Right. I
don't know
like
why.
I feel like it's the same thing with Yoda as with
Obi-Wan didn't need to die.
with Darth Vader, as in like, okay, they're dying now because they go pretty quickly from like throwing people over ledges to can't hang on any longer.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
And and I don't even think Obi-Wan needed to die. Really? I mean, it's like when they kill off Dumbledore. It's like, well, then Dumbledore gives you just info dumps,
right?
You know, it's like we killed him, but we probably shouldn't have because we have all this information we need to
right.
give.
I think it's especially with the first one when you don't know if there's going to be more.
Sure,
it's like you need that emotional pull of you need that loss.
Right.
I'm not saying it was a bad
drive.
choice, and also it's I'm sorry. Well, I interrupted you.
No, I was done.
I always do that. I need to stop doing that. But I think it's also sort of an archetype. I mean, I was thinking like Gandalf, same thing. Gandalf dies in Fellowship of the Ring and then comes back for Twin Towers or Two Towers and Return of the King. It's that sort of that old mentor who has to sacrifice himself. Yeah, it's
right, and it makes it to where he has to kind of go on the journey on his own without Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan comes back, and he's here with a whole lot of things to explain.
Here's a lot.
Hey, you guys,
of info.
I know some of the stuff that's about to happen may not make sense. It's me, your old pal Obi-Wan, here
Exposition.
to make it all. Hey, I didn't lie to you. I was being obtuse.
It was alternative facts.
Anakin, okay, he was your dad, but then he became Vader, and he was a totally different person, so I didn't lie.
Point of view, I never lied. I never lied to you, okay?
And then, also Leia's your sister.
Yeah, Leia's your sister. You remember that time you kissed her? Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah, that whole trip to Dagobah is just...
exposition.
It's so much.
We're going to lay all this on you.
And coming to a Han Solo movie near you, the Battle of Tanab, which is where he's like, oh boy, you remember that time on the Battle of Tanab? It's like, okay, well, that's going to be like the final scene of the Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
So then they go and they find out about the Endor thing.
Yes.
Okay, they're building Death Star 2 in order to stop them. We're gonna attack their fleet, but you gotta go down to the moon, and we know the stuff, so we're gonna turn off the deflector shields.
So in Rogue One, the whole point of Rogue One, I guess the whole spark of it was there was a line in Return of the Jedi, the line that a lot of something died to get this, but that's for the second Death Star.
Because I always thought Rogue One was for the first.
I thought that too, but the line that sparked it was a lot of like soldiers died to get these plans.
Right.
Well, no,
and that was for the
she
second
says
one.
that
it's for the first one because I mean Rogue One is all about the guy who designed the Death Star.
Right.
So it's got to be for the first.
I think that line may have inspired it, but
Okay.
they made it for the original ones because they talk about it a bunch, and then the Emperor says, "Oh no, we planted these plans later on in the movie."
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see how that inspired it, and they were like, "No, let's make it for the first Death Star."
Okay. Cool.
Was that kind of what you were wondering?
That's what I was wondering. I didn't because I just remember hearing, they're going to take that line and make it a movie.
Right.
But I was like, oh wait a minute, that was the first Death Star. But
right.
But yeah, that was what I was confused about.
Because at the end of
well, no, I know it connects directly to A New Hope.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what I was like. I was wondering maybe it wasn't that line or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so then they go to Endor, and they start their attack, I guess, with 4 people. That speeder chase looks so bad.
Yeah,
I always liked that as a kid.
I think it's cool in concept.
Yeah,
but it's one of the things where the idea is cooler than It's like an idea that's kind of ahead of its time, but the execution couldn't quite keep up.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think a lot of this movie is based around kind of being at the cutting edge of being like, oh yeah, we can do this. Like we can make this happen. Mm-hmm. And this one, they were like, no, we can do it, and it just doesn't.
And I might have like GoldenEye syndrome too on this, where like, I just remember playing this in video games. It's awesome there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Playing it in video games is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a lot of comedy deaths.
Yeah, a lot of explosions,
a lot of
machines hitting trees,
or like getting wrapped around the tree
Yeah.
multiple times. They go woo, or just spin off and do crazy things. Also, whenever the stormtroopers fall off, they're dead, and when Leia falls off, she just gets poked by an Ewok spear.
I mean, it's the same. There's like the little phaser pistols or whatever, and if they hit their armor, they go all over they just get blown back and die. So it's like, why are you even wearing armor?
Yeah.
Right.
Or when the Ewoks just drop like a damn ass rock on
right. Exactly. There's nothing.
one of the little troopers. It's like, oh, now they're demobilized.
Yeah. The stormtrooper goes up to Leia, has the pistol out, and then the Ewok just like taps him in the shin.
He's dead.
With the thing, and he's like, "What the?" and then she gets him, and it's just like, ugh, God, this. Yeah. Then they all get captured by the Ewoks.
Yeah.
And C-3PO says he can't lie.
Then he lies.
He just lies nonstop from that point on.
Yeah, C-3PO is constantly introducing like just different sort of criteria or like things he cannot do. Everything is like, oh, nah, can't do that either. But they love it is pretty funny to watch so that's I don't hate the Ewoks as much as other people.
Yes.
Like I understand, like they are clearly like for kids and for toys, so it's not to be taken as seriously. But at the same time, I do enjoy some of their hijinks.
Right, I kind of enjoy a lot of the things if they did things beyond drop rocks,
right,
or. Have a series of Home Alone pranks to kill these things.
Though they did have that one scene where the one Ewok dies and the other Ewok goes up.
Yeah,
that was good,
big, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think there's a way that you can do both. And
yes.
I think they decided to go more silly.
Yeah.
And it's not just with the Ewoks. This is jumping ahead a little bit, but at one point, they need to get in, and Han taps the guy on the shoulder and then runs to the other side.
Yeah, that was...
And it's like, come on. And there's just a bunch of people standing there with guns. It's like nothing has changed. It's just, hey, we're going to add this corny bit for no reason.
It's like they're just like listening to Benny Hill on repeat and like, got to finish this story.
Yeah. Another kind of non sequitur. So Obi-Wan says, he keeps saying that Yoda taught him.
Oh, right.
But
yes.
The prequels retcon that totally with Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yes.
So, just mentioning that.
So Luke says that there's good in Vader, and he felt it. Was it when he chopped off his hand? Was that when he felt the good in him?
I don't.
Was it when he was throwing office furniture at him?
Maybe I think it might have been again. I feel like I'm finding myself constantly kind of like trying to explain for this movie or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like when he's talking to him and he's like, come to the dark side.
Right.
Like not just killing him.
Right.
He feels the conflict there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think if the prequels were good for anything, it's to have Vader believe that the kids died.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes this moment more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the Emperor lied to him and said that the kids died in your anger, you killed her, all this stuff. So it gives him a reason to turn on the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like, it's my son and I gotta do this. This whole movie kind of is just
a few scenes.
All the Endor stuff.
The Endor and then him and Vader.
It's crazy as you're explaining it, and then I kind of more realize, like, this is two really long, drawn-out sequences.
Right. The Ewok steals the speeder, and then he's, like, floating in the air when he does it, which is basically the exact same scene as they did before.
Yeah.
Where they're chasing it, and it doesn't look that great, and maybe it's just the future looking back at it, but and in the meantime, Luke goes to I feel like we're getting through this so fast, but not much happened. There's just like a lot of kind of action beats.
Yeah,
this movie would have been good to have subtitles. I don't have subtitles for this either. This one.
What?
I don't think
there
were
was
missing too much.
There weren't. Okay, I thought the Jabba stuff subtitles and
I think the Jabba stuff. Well, no, because 3PO's there, and 3PO translates.
Translations.
But there was one long Jabba thing that it may have needed it. I don't know.
I really was annoyed by the whole scene where Luke is just freaking going around every long route to explain that he is Leia's brother. He's sometimes when a man and a woman love each other, they make kids. And sometimes when you're evil, you make Jedi kids. And sometimes those two kids are far away and they don't know they're related. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just like, good God, just tell her.
Right.
It's like, hey, you're my sister.
And she's like, I can't do what you do.
No.
And then he's like, let me tell you a long story.
My father had it. I have it. My sister has it.
Yeah, that's like... There are a lot of really like great lines that happen pretty organically in this movie, and this is kind of one of those instances where you kind of start to think, they were trying to kind of create one of those iconic scenes,
right?
And when it feels so forced like that, it has the opposite effect.
And then Han Solo's all mad, and it's
right.
the whole
they set up the whole last movie is that they go and they're in love, and then she goes and she saves him, and he's in love, and then he goes and he sees her talking to Luke once, and he's like, "Oh, you're in love with him, aren't you?"
And she's like, "Of course I am, but I won't tell you why." It's like it's just so coy and
not
trying
like
to make
that.
false tension.
Yeah,
he's my brother.
Han was way too chill about her. Like, I'm in love with Luke, by the way.
Right.
Way too chill.
He's like, oh no, I understand.
Han Solo would be
Han Solo
off his rocker. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
and it's so out of the blue too. Like, because they never really had any kind of, except for that one kiss in the second one, they never really had any really interaction. Really, Luke and Leia
in this movie.
Yeah.
Not
any of them. Yeah. Well,
not as much. Off the top, they do. When like she's the one that that gets him out.
But I guess there's more chemistry with Han and Leia, sexual chemistry, than them two.
Yes.
You never really see that.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Luke.
Never mind. Luke. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my fault.
No,
the Emperor when he's explaining his plan
Yeah.
to Luke, he's like, so yeah, we planted the plans, and so we have an elite force that's waiting for your friends down on Endor, and get ready for this. And then this elite force gets just beaten by a bunch of comedy deaths.
Koala bears, some Ezekiel Elliott's down there.
They're just tossing not even big rocks.
Little rocks.
Tiny rocks.
Yes.
Yeah, and or just like rolling some logs in front of them,
Right,
or
and they'll
just
Tripwire.
yeah, like 6 Ewoks tripping. Like there's like 5 different ways that they realize they can trip these things.
Exactly. They're just tripping things constantly, just like getting on top of their heads and just slightly tapping them on their helmets.
Yeah.
Man. And then I guess there's Admiral Akbar and stuff, which we haven't talked about a whole lot.
It's a trap.
But
it's a frap.
They're kind of, they set it up like you're supposed to care a bunch about Lando, but Lando is like kind of he's all the worst parts
at best
of
neutral
Han.
at this moment.
Yeah.
Like, as far as like, good deeds outweighing bad deeds, he is at best neutral.
He's a neutral character, yeah.
And I mean, like, he's a cool character, but it's not like, man, hope he makes it out. It's
right.
If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Yeah. Ugh, man. So the Emperor, at first I was mad about this, but the more I thought about it, so the Emperor is just like, I can see your rage. All your friends are being killed. At first I was like, hey man, lay low. The whole point of your plan is to like not let him know that you want him to get mad. But then
you tell someone you're gonna, to get mad, they're not gonna get mad. Okay, we'll do the opposite.
That's
well, yeah, but then I thought about it more, and nothing makes me more mad than someone being like, "Why are you mad?"
Yeah.
And be like, "No, I'm not mad." And then they're like, "Oh no, I mean you're mad." It's like, but I'm not mad. No, I'm not mad.
You mad, bro?
No,
You
like
mad, bro?
no. Why are you saying I'm mad? What do you like? What makes you think that I'm mad right now?
Yeah.
Adam, I'm gonna be honest with you. You sound pretty mad right now.
Oh God, I'm freaking pissed off.
But that actually is like one thing that the prequels did better was kind of Palpatine's like manipulative nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. That's a good point.
So he's just kind of Luke's meanwhile just hanging out there.
And also you mentioned Palpatine for the movie. Underrated acting from the prequels. That guy, you sound just like Palpatine in these movies. So he did a good job of mimicking that, I thought.
Unstoppable power.
I mean, like the accent was good. The accent was he sounded his accent sounded good.
Yes. Is that what it was? Unstoppable
power. It sounds like a Disney villain.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm sure. I think the genie Jafar actually said that too.
Maybe.
And Aladdin.
So then he's like,
or he said infinite power.
Oh, infinite power. You're
Yeah.
right. Yes. And he's like, this is kind of what you were saying with the trying the iconic moments when they're like, my fully operational Death Star, and you're supposed to be like, oh, the Death
Fully
Star
operational.
And then they go and they shoot at Lando's ship, the Death Star, which can blow up planets
and is fully operational.
And it goes and it's like, what was that? Oh, the Death Star works, and that's the only time they shoot
and
it.
They cut like to like Lando's cockpit and then like Akbar's cockpit and like all these different cockpits. All the while, I'm just waiting to see like, okay, so which one of these blew up? But none of them.
Did. It's just everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see too much death in this.
No.
No.
Except for that one Ewok.
One little Ewok. Poor guy.
And then you get to they bang on their heads at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope their heads are still in there. It's not just helmets.
It's what I was thinking during the big it's Andor. That's where all the Ewoks live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that big battle scene. It's like, man, I think one of the problems with this movie is the lack of. I mean, there are like stakes, but nothing bad happens to any of the good guys.
No.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
The only good guys are the ones that there are 20 like this dozens and dozens of Ewoks. And they all look the same, and they're the only ones that die.
Right.
Seemingly, because
Luke, I guess, has the moment where you think where he's getting force lightninged.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
But beyond that, no one's really in
Right, and that's at the very end of the movie.
exceptional amount of danger.
And Luke gets force lightning for 10 minutes, and then Vader gets a little shock, and he's like, "Oh!"
Yeah, it is a very long scene. I'm like, man, how long are they going to have this go on for? But.
The Luke Vader scene is pretty. The fight is.
It's pretty cool. There's some cool. I love the gymnastics.
Right,
like backflip onto that platform, and he's like just throws his lightsaber, knocks him down.
Right.
But when Luke is going ham, just whacking down on
then he
Vader,
chops his hand off.
Yeah. That I was like, hell yeah,
because he's
that's
pissed.
brutality.
Yeah.
No anger. And it's like, you know what? Well, he has to kind of kill him because otherwise the Empire wins.
Right.
Like, isn't that the point to kill them? There's not really a prison. Like, there's no prison, it seems like, in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they can just, try him in court and go to jail.
Space jail.
Right. No, they realized the lack of any sort of legal or jurisdictional any sort of government system. They didn't really mention that very much in the original trilogy. So they're like, we're going to focus on this.
We're going to get this
for
down.
the prequels.
That I guess the biggest thing, the most exciting thing, is supposed to be Lando blowing up the Death.
Yeah.
You also get a cool shrug from Harrison Ford with a...
Right, that's it. When he pranks them into going outside, and they're surrounded by guys with guns, and he's like, "Gotcha."
It's a very
schmackety doo.
It's a very sitcom, intro.
Yeah, he's Jim looking at the camera.
Yeah. Harrison Ford's name comes up.
I thought the visually the racing through the Death Star was really really cool, and it helps put the size of the Death Star into focus, where they're racing these huge ships through it.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of neat.
And they were also let's just give the Death Star the exact same weak spots.
Yeah, exact same thing.
That was not well thought out at all.
No.
And still no guardrail. I mean, no.
There is a guardrail. He tosses him over the guardrail.
Yeah, they learned guardrails are good.
Mm-hmm.
But changing the ship's vulnerability, not necessary.
Why don't they just make the whole ship out of the black box?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was the no in Revenge of the Sith based on the no when Vader stops the Emperor from killing Luke?
Maybe.
Because I wonder if they went to James Earl Jones and they were like,
"You need to just say no again."
You remember when you said no? Do that, but sadder. And he was like, "Oh no, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say it longer." No.
Yeah, that was pretty cool when he throws the Emperor off.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool scene. And then I want to look on my son with my own eyes. And you look at him, and he's freaking gross. God.
Yeah, he's all white and pale and pasty.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's always been, I guess it was always set up that Vader was in a volcano.
Yeah, I heard that.
The thing.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of gotten fat too in that suit.
Yeah.
Or is that just old man? I don't know.
When you have no more limbs,
Yeah.
it's hard to stay in shape.
Well,
he's just hanging out in his little cocoon all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So then they go and everybody celebrates.
Yeah, there's a big old party.
Yes.
And Han goes and finally confronts Leia about actually loving Luke.
Yeah.
And she's like, I do love Luke. He's my brother. And he's like, what the fuck, you want to have sex with your brother? And then he slowly realizes what she means. But for a second, he was like,
I love that. I love that. There's a YouTube video where she says that, and then he's giving that look, and it's like, and it's that scene where they kiss.
Yeah.
That's funny. What?
I was kind of wrapping Christmas presents during the end of this movie.
Okay.
So it was doing it. And I was paying attention, kind of writing some notes here and there, and then it's that final scene, and I saw Hayden Christensen, and out loud I just said, "Oh, fuck you!" I got mad seeing it. I just
Hayden Christensen's best performance.
Yeah,
it's his best performance.
Yeah, he looks around. Hey,
what's going on?
He turns to I wanted to see him turn to Obi-Wan and still be freaking pissed off at his constant lack of trust.
You don't treat me like an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Why wasn't Ian McGregor there? If Luke's
Alex,
gonna be all
Alec
young,
Guinness is there.
Yeah.
Who Hayden Christensen is? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He can feel it. He has the
Now,
Force.
to be fair, though, it was just some random fat dude, in the original cut.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, so Yoda has to live in the afterlife as a 900-year-old man.
Yes.
Obi-Wan has to live as an old man.
Yes.
And Vader's like, no, I'm going to go back to my prime.
Hell yeah.
Y'all
Hell
made
yeah.
the wrong choice.
Yeah. You should have been evil. This is what you get when you go to the dark side.
Yeah.
You get these locks back.
I mean, I guess he has to walk around.
And I guess that was when he was most human, too,
he gets to
maybe.
revert. Right. Yeah, I guess maybe it takes him back to the last moment he was
Human.
good side.
Yeah.
I guess.
Either way, it's
Still, though, it's
fuzzy and questionable.
Yeah, it's a lot of things are questionable, I guess. Anyway, let's do a ranking on this, or unless you have any last words.
No, I mean, maybe I'm being too hard on it, and maybe the Vader stuff is. I don't think Luke getting Vader to turn is better than the scenes with Obi-Wan and Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. Like, I just
think that's I could agree with you, but I think that's because I think we like the opposite, where we like seeing someone turn.
bad.
We like Breaking Bad, perfect example. We love that show. We wouldn't like a show about breaking good, about
But
bad guy
that's
turning
kind of
good.
what the part of the Breaking Bad is. You root for Walt to go that way, but you also root for Jesse to go the other way.
Sure,
almost.
Sure.
It's kind of a non sequitur. But speaking of bad and good, Lexi had a pretty good take on the Empire's badness.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas typically in these types of stories, you have just have opposing viewpoints, right?
Right.
They think they're doing the right thing,
Yes.
but like Palpatine especially, it's like, nah, we're just bad. We're
Right.
doing things because they're bad.
Because we want to be.
This is what we like.
Yeah.
And so it's hilarious because they're like, no, we're just going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Blow up a planet for fun.
Right. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. I think we like to see. I don't know. For me personally, I like Downfall more than Redemption. I think it's just more of a fun story.
Yeah.
I
can see that.
You're a Schadenfreude.
Yeah. Huh?
You like to Schadenfreude is people
getting joy from
joy
seeing
out of others.
Others suffer.
Yes,
Yeah.
it makes me feel a little better about my miserable existence. I really enjoy the Jabba stuff, and that might just be nostalgia because it's like, when I think back as a kid thinking about Star Wars, Jabba's palace always comes up.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, Jabba always comes up.
You know why? It's Slave Leia.
Yeah, well, yeah, but so that always comes up. I enjoy that. I did enjoy the speeder stuff. Again, it might be nostalgia. This might be a whole nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more. I definitely this time around noticed, yes, the Ewoks, even though they weren't like abysmal, I don't think they're horrible, but they're still really muddled down the story. The story was a very short story, expanded into 2 hours.
Right.
Yes.
I thought the Vader stuff was all right at the end. The whole reveal was pretty neat, even though it's like I wish he looked a little more fucked up, a little less like a fat old man. But
if that's what I look like after a lava accident, I would
sign me up.
I'd choose lava accident.
Sure. So I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. What's a 3?
A 3 would be
60%.
Yeah.
3.5 lav and a halves.
Okay. I'm probably giving it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I was probably 3.5 laughs and a halves.
Okay.
I still enjoyed it.
Here's something that I want to suggest for future reviews.
Yes.
Maybe we do laughs and a halves at the end, but also I want this rating system to be like out of how many execute order 66, how many orders do you give it? And it'd be like, I give it 42 orders. And you just take something with a number from the movie.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
So it's
I like that.
specific towards every
That
one.
movie. Okay.
Yeah.
But then we can also give it a more general one.
Yeah.
But I just think that's kind of funny.
I give it 69.
That does make it more fun.
69 every time out of 66.
So like Logan Lucky could have been out of how many Ocean 7-Elevens?
Right, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
But in that
I can dig
case,
that.
is it 711 or do we just go off the 11? We can decide case by case.
Case by case basis.
Yeah. Did you guys want to do? We are 2 hours and 18 minutes in. Did you want to do Twitter questions?
Let's do it.
Okay.
We're here.
We're for the fans.
For the fans, man. We're all for the fans. So we got a few. We got a few here and there. I tweeted out early in the morning.
That's good.
As Spencer told me to do that.
If next time, not to criticize you, ask for Star Wars questions.
That would have been a good idea.
We do it for Rogue.
Yeah,
not Rogue One. For Force Awakens, just to be like, we're getting you pumped for the next one. What are your questions going into the new one or about the old one?
Okay.
Whatever.
We are solely responsible for your excitement.
Right.
For this new Star Wars movie.
I also have access to the ticket Twitter page now. So.
Well, you don't need to.
Oh yeah, did you like my? Were you Bob and Dan that liked my?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, there's no way Bob and Dan liked my tweet.
No, I like.
You messed it up.
I like to pretend I'm Bob and Dan. So Daniel Martinez, who's actually the guy who's gone back and listening to a bunch of our stuff on YouTube.
What up, Daniel?
Hey, Danny! Damn, Daniel!
Damn! Yes!
Daniel!
Damn, Daniel! Back at it again. Listen to our podcast.
He says, "What are some movies that are lesser known but are worth watching?"
I actually saw this, so I had a couple
Okay.
prepared.
Go for it.
I'm going to choose this one because we're going fast. It's a movie called Cheap Thrills.
Dude, my best buddy Hayden keeps telling me to watch that movie.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is like the epitome of lesser known. It made like $60,000 in the box office.
It's the one where he's like, hey, he meets some guy at a bar and he tells him, hey, for like $100 do this, and it escalates.
It's two guys who are down on their luck.
Yeah.
They meet a weird couple at a bar. They take them back to their house, and it's just it's a little bit of a horror. It's like a thriller kind of where it's just raising the stakes of if you like punch him, I'll give you $100, and then they raise the stakes, and it just keeps on getting progressively like worse and worse.
I think I've seen a porn like that.
It's a lot like I know exactly which one you're talking about. It's a lot like that.
Cool.
But yeah, I would recommend that one.
For me, I think mine is Bronson.
Yeah.
Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive. If you like Drive. Even if you don't like Drive, I think Bronson, it's Tom Hardy before Tom Hardy was big.
Yeah.
And it's a movie was released in Britain about Britain's most famous prisoner. And it's Tom Hardy with a lot of fighting and a lot of kind of just cool things.
Cussing.
Happening.
Good cussing.
If you like Clockwork Orange and Drive, it is Clockwork Orange meets Drive.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It is. It's incredible. I was kind of disappointed I hadn't seen it sooner.
Yeah,
we did our second episode on that.
I think so.
Yeah.
You have a reco?
Yes. So here's one that's kind of been on my mind because I do work in radio. Telling Lies in America. It's Brad Renfro and Kevin Bacon. It's a movie about this guy from Bulgaria. He's supposed to be Eastern European. Comes over with his father. He's obsessed with this radio station, this DJ. And he wants to be a radio star, but he has a lisp. Like, he has a speech impediment. He can't really talk.
Gotcha.
And Kevin Bacon kind of takes him under his wing. And it's sort of about the 60s and all the payola, plugola. He's making him do things he doesn't want to do. And it's pretty interesting. It's about the radio industry, like, back in the day.
Interesting.
I would say also Brazil.
Hey, that's one I was gonna say.
Oh yeah,
that was mine. That was the two that I had were Bronson and Brazil.
Brazil, I love Brazil, and
Brazil's
I think it's
so good.
even like very relevant today.
It's so relevant today.
Just a lot of micro managing paperwork and just sort of free will. It deals with a lot. It's very.
It's like 1984,
yes,
but
exactly.
a better
Very
movie than the better of than 1984.
Terry Gilliam's 1984.
Very Terry Gilliam, and it's a really good movie. It's one of my favorite movies. And then Let the Right One In is a Swedish. No.
I think
it's Swedish.
Stockholm, Sweden. Yeah.
Stockholm, Sweden. Yeah.
It is a Swedish vampire romance movie. I would say love story.
It was on my horror movies list.
Yeah.
I think it's on Netflix. I believe
should
right
be.
now.
Yeah. That's a really good movie as well. Kind of on the spot. Those are kind of three I can think of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for that question, Daniel.
Yeah,
and you know what?
Question.
Thanks for listening.
You're the
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming. Protrubed Cat, or I won't even. He asked, "Have you all played, discussed Witcher 3 yet?" This is not the GamesCast. This is the FilmsCast.
Yep.
But I have started it, but I got no time for games anymore with all these movies.
I know, man. Jared Tackett, I'm going to respond to this guy as well, but he says, "I want to get into video editing. What software do you prefer to use?"
For me, it's Adobe Premiere is what I've used most. Final Cut Pro is what I learned on, but there's not really a point. Final Cut has been watered down immensely, and the Adobe Creative Suite, they make it easy to go in between. So if you want to learn, 3D graphics and
After Effects, Audition,
all that kind of stuff, it makes it super easy to work in between. And you kind of have to be able to do all of that now. It's not as much segmented anymore. I would suggest that.
I'm going to pair what you said. I have the Adobe Cloud, and it's very seamless. Most people I know use Adobe. I know we had to learn, what was it, Avid? And I couldn't freaking understand Avid.
Avid, professionally, right now, I think you're mostly going to see Avid and Premiere. The difference is Avid costs a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
And
Premiere is fairly,
and Premiere, it's cost $60 a month.
I'm going to give you a little cheat code, okay? Just say you're a student, and you get the student discount.
Right.
Just say you're a student. That's what I did. I'm getting $19 a month.
There you go.
Premiere.
I just want to add, I'm like a marketing analyst, so I don't know.
Okay. That's all good. Yeah.
Spencer, what do I need to do to improve my click-through rate?
Your click-through rate? You could do a creative refresh. Switch up your targeting.
Why don't you market this podcast?
Oh, God.
Oh, I'm an analyst.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I tell you how good you're doing, not how to do it.
I'm sorry I asked. I apologize. Dr. Mantis Toboggan asks,
what a silly name.
He's silly. Were you as underwhelmed as me with the Infinity War trailer? I don't want to see CGI the movie.
Yeah. Not for the CGI fact, but mostly for the fact that there's going to be so many people.
Yes.
And it'd be like, you have to give everybody their moment, because that's why they did it. So get ready. Here's Ant-Man. Wow.
Here's Paul Rudd for 2 seconds. Here's Spider-Man. Oh. For a few seconds here. Lexi Smells. Who's she? I don't know.
Sounds cute.
Shut up. What is a movie you'd like to see made into a video game?
A movie that I want to see made into
a video game.
Ocean's 11.
Okay. They might have done that in like the 2000s.
Well, they should make a better one.
Okay. That was like the big, like that was when every movie was made into a video game.
Right.
Back in the day, yeah.
I want to see any movie about Elvis Presley. I want to play Elvis as a video game character.
Not only did you not have an idea of a movie, he asked you a movie to turn into a video game, and you said
Elvis.
An elf.
Wait, what do you mean I didn't?
You just want to be Elvis?
What do you mean I didn't have an idea for a movie?
Wait.
Oh, like no. So you could do like Elvis and Nixon. Then one with what's the
Frost
movie?
And Nixon.
No, not
make a
Frost
and
Nixon
video game.
It's the one with Michael Shannon where he plays Elvis. And he like is like basically Nixon is trying to use Elvis to like basically get information on the Russians, I think.
Right.
I can't remember what it's called. It's something like Elvis and Nixon. But yeah, you got like right stick is like strumming the guitar, left stick is like gyrating the hips. That's a pretty cool dynamic for a video game character. Anything with Elvis.
I'll go with it.
Whatever. Forrest Gump, and I just want to play the Elvis scene.
Just want to play ping pong.
Yeah.
You can play so many mini games.
I don't care about the ping pong. I want to play the scene with Elvis.
Shrimp? That thing would be so good.
That'd be a great
and
game.
the scene where you get to play as Lieutenant Dan swimming without legs,
or just running.
Yeah, or run. Yeah,
cross country. The game.
There's it. You know what? I take it back.
Football. There's football. There's a football mini game.
Forrest Gump would be an excellent game.
There's a war aspect. There's a lot in there.
And you end up like a millionaire at the end.
Right.
Like a multi-time millionaire.
The bubblegum shrimp thing could be like adventure capitalist where you just click, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You just click. It's a clicker.
You got to cook the shrimp.
All right.
Dude, you can have all these microtransactions. Oh, you bubblegum shrimp microtransactions.
So good.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Give me Forrest Gump with his Alabama skin.
And then there's like there's a scene where you're like a savvy investor.
Yes.
Like to all the listeners, please come at me with a better suggestion for a movie converted to video game than Forrest Gump.
Dude, you might have hit the nail on the head.
I'm gonna be bearded Forrest. I'm gonna pay $4.99 for it.
Get that skin.
There would be like 10 hours of just running.
Yes.
Just running.
Cross country the game.
Yeah,
and you can like pay a little more to run a little faster.
And it's like the day is over, and it's like all your stats like 20 new followers.
Oh yeah, you got to get those followers.
You gotta get those follows.
Yep. And then you invent the freaking smiley face.
Yes,
that's sick.
And you get DLC smiley face T-shirt sales.
Yep. And you get to have sex with Jenny.
Yeah. My idea always was a kind of an online Harry Potter game where you could like go up through Wizard School, Pottermore, but like actually like a video game,
right?
Where you could go through school and play Quidditch and
they did make some
classes.
like PlayStation 1 Harry Potter games. There's a lot of funny.
Chamber of Secrets was my jam.
There's a lot of funny stills of like the Harry Potter characters.
The first one is terrible.
I played all those games and they were pretty fun for me.
The second one was really awesome because you get to fly around Hogwarts. Yeah, that was so cool. Even though there was like invisible walls everywhere, but
and then. I've always kind of been interested in a Lord of the Rings MMO.
Me too. Like a big open world Lord of the Rings game. Yeah. Skyrim.
Is Shadows of Mordor not a...
It is loosely... I mean, it is like Mordor, but it is like... It is like the opposite of what J.R.R. Tolkien was meaning to tell us the story of Lord of the Rings. It is some big badass guy who's killing people, and Shelob is a sexy lady, not a spider. It is like the opposite of Lord of the Rings.
Okay, so
it's not about
the realm, but not really
the story. Spirit. It's kind of killed all that, and it's just a game where you kill orcs.
How about a new Knights of the Old Republic game?
That would be a good one. I think people would really want that game, honestly. I think people are clamoring for something like that, especially nowadays. Let me open this up again. Lexi Smells asked, what is the movie you've seen more times than any other movie?
For me, it's probably A Christmas Story.
Yeah?
Mine's definitely The Room.
The Room?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Sadly. I mean, it's like makes me really kind of sick to my stomach. Like, I love it, but it's like, really?
That's what I watched. I feel like I watch A Christmas Story probably twice every Christmas season.
Really? Yeah,
at
that
least.
Makes sense.
And that's like it's not a great movie, but it's just kind of what they do.
Thinking of that, it could be like The Wizard of Oz. We watch The Wizard of Oz every Christmas.
If you're gonna go with that, it would probably be like Aladdin or The Lion King. Just as a kid, I watched that all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably stuff as a kid that we watched a bunch that may not think of.
Because I can't think of anything like now. I mean,
we watched
I've
Remember the
Step
Titans
a
bunch in like tax days.
Yeah,
we'd have to.
That was
It's coming back. Forrest Gump was shown in class a lot.
Yeah.
Every history class was like, this is like a history movie.
Yeah, he was like history.
No, we watched the sex scenes.
All the sex.
Studied them. That was for
the
health class.
Scene.
Chris the Fields asks,
hey
guys.
Hey, Chris.
Is it possible to drink too much milk?
Yeah, are you lactose intolerant?
Just
watch
some videos. There's all kinds of videos of people drinking too much milk.
Chris the Fields is a fan of chalky milk. Just know that.
Chalky?
With an L
chalky.
or
chocolate milk, chalky milk.
I thought you were talking about.
So why
I didn't know what you were saying. Chalky milk.
Trey, can I ask why do we need the record to show that Chris the Fields likes chocolate milk?
It's important information.
Interesting.
So
Nothing's better than
he has a video
glass
on YouTube that says Dark Souls is like chocolate milk. That's the joke.
That is good.
He's gonna. Yeah, I don't know. He has a weird explanation.
You know, he would get along with Kyle. We got a friend. We have a friend whose like dinner of choice is chocolate milk and butter dogs.
Butter dogs. Yeah.
Hot dogs made with butter.
All right.
Hey, nothing beats a big old glass of chalky milk
Bits
to
are
wash down this dog treat.
Bits are fun. Asked, and this is Brad Folsom from Below the Belt podcast.
Oh,
hey,
Bits are fun. Whenever I saw him, I always thought this was one of Mike Soroy's secret accounts.
Oh no, really? No, this is Brad Folsom.
Okay, well, good.
But he's connected with Mike Soroy. Why not say Naboo is Alderaan? Why not say Grievous is Darth Maul? Why not say Qui-Gon Jinn ordered clones? Why didn't Jedis pay to free Atlantis? Anakin's mom, he spelled that wrong. I don't know. He said a lot of things here.
Okay. I think I agree with all of them.
Okay.
But let's go through one by one.
Why not say Naboo is Alderaan?
Right. That makes 1,000 times more sense. especially if then you're sending at the end, you send Luke to Tatooine.
Yeah.
And you send Leia to
Alderaan.
To Alderaan, because that's where what's her face Padme's from, and then one to Tatooine, where that's where Anakin's from.
Yeah,
that makes way more sense. I don't know why you wouldn't want it to be Alderaan.
Yeah,
it makes 1,000 times more sense.
Why not say Grievous is Darth Maul?
Instead of killing Darth Maul,
make him General Grievous. Yeah.
Which, again, his thing is that, hey, I've killed Jedi before.
Yeah.
And then that would add a bigger moment for Obi-Wan would have 2 big moments in the third movie then, which would be a lot better. But you don't get that moment of triumph, I guess, in the first movie, where just turning off the droids is the big moment.
Why not say Qui-Gon Jinn ordered clones?
That another one that makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused on that one.
So there's that random Jedi that ordered all the clones.
So not like literally have Qui-Gon Jinn be bad guy and do it, but just say that's who did it, like use that as the decoy, or maybe we're turning
maybe he did
Qui-Gon into bad guy.
You could turn him into bad guy.
Is he necessarily bad guy for wanting an army? I don't know.
Maybe he's just like, we need to do something. Why didn't Jedis pay to free Anakin's mom?
Because screw Anakin's mom.
Because Wada wanted that sweet cat. He's too smart for them. Anakin's going and training, and there's just like, no, let's not go back and get the kid's mom.
Screw that.
That won't backfire at all. This emotional roller coaster of a child.
Because then you don't get genocide. And what's the prequel without genocide?
They killed the women and the children too.
Baby, it's okay. Give me your seed.
On the there's a meme.
Ooh.
Which is this is just a thing.
A meme.
You ready for this meme?
Ooh.
It's a doctor and talking to a sand person, and it's like, "Sir, you're awake from your coma for the first time since the Jedi attack." And he's like, "I can't wait to go back home and see not only the men but the women and the children." Yeah,
man, that's a hot, stanky meme.
It is. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that is oh my God, we are 2 hours and 30. This is our longest podcast.
This is
ever.
as long as The Last Jedi, right?
It is.
Hey,
that's a movie. Thank you guys for staying so long, and being engaged, and having fun.
You're talking to the listeners right now, right?
Yes, I'm talking to the listeners.
Love you.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. It's been great, and thank you two for hanging in there. This has been a while.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
this is Super FilmsCast 64. If you're still listening, you won the grand prize. Get your free $50 gift card. You just got to come up to the station. Oh my God, Chapter 11 bankruptcy. We're fucked. No more podcast.
R.I.P. Austin's stock.